time out of the league was much needed after some heavy defeats on the road away from the New York Stadium. Everton make 8 changes tonight for the game. Tom Davies is installed as captain. Gylfi Sigurdsson and Mason Holgate also keep their places from the side that played at Bournemouth on Saturday, a game you heard live with us here on TalkSport 2. Martin Stekelenburg is the goal. Joe Kenny, Mason Holgate, Kurt Zouma and Lucas Digne at the back four. Zouma, of course, on loan from Chelsea, making a start. Sigurdsson, Tom Davies, Kieran Dowell and Sandro Ramirez are in the midfield, possibly as a 4, but maybe a 3 with Sandro Ramirez, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Oumar Niasse. Maybe a 3 with Tom Davies, captain, and the played at the weekend. Clark Robinson has had to switch to left back after Matic's injury, and Semi Ajayi comes in to the starting lineup. So it is 9 changes in the end for the manager. Lewis Price is the goalkeeper. Zach Viner, Semi Ajayi, Sean Raggett and Clark Robinson across the back. Anthony Ford, Matty Palmer, Ben Wiles and Joe Newell as a midfield 4. David Ball, the skipper, and Jamie Proctor up front. Proctor scored a couple against Wigan in the last round. And the substitutes for the Millers: Marek Rodak, Will Vogt, Semi Ajayi, John Taylor, Kyle Vassell, Ryan Williams and Billy Jones. Forest, Newcastle, Millwall, Plymouth, Reading, Watford and the other second round ties taking place. Remaining Champions League playoff ties taking place tonight, and Everton will get us underway, and they'll be kicking towards the park end, away to our right hand side as we sit in the main stand, the Goodison Road stand. Kieran Dowell gets us off in their traditional home strip of the blue shirts, white shorts and socks. Rotherham in their change strip of the yellow shirts with the light blue sleeves, light blue shorts and socks. Kurt Zouma immediately forced to go back to his goalkeeper, Martin Stekelenburg. Street end, lost the ball high into the Rotherham half, but it's won back by Matty Palmer, and he finds Semi Ajayi, who wasn't playing until about 20 minutes before kick-off when Joe Mattock picked up that injury in the warm-up for the Millers. So, Ajayi just steps in ahead of Oumar Niasse to hook the ball clear for Rotherham, and then Kurt Zouma makes a bit of a mess of an attempted hook clearance himself, and Rotherham have a throw which they've taken quickly to get Jamie Proctor away down the right hand side towards the corner flag. Tries to swing across it, it's deep, too deep, and actually went out before it actually drifted back into play. So Everton have themselves a goal kick at the Gladys Street, and we've played a minute on TalkSport 2. Everton 0, Rotherham 0.
Yeah, you look at Rotherham, they've set the stall out straight away. They're pressing high up the pitch, obviously trying to stop Everton playing out from the back, making them kick long, trying to suck them into a scrap as such.
Yeah, Holgate and Zouma are waiting down the sides of the penalty area, but they're being watched all the way by the likes of Joe Newell and Anthony Ford. So Stekelenburg's gone long, headed down by Sean Raggett, volleyed forward by Clark Robinson, over the top, and suddenly Proctor's in behind. Holgate let it bounce, and Proctor tries to drive on the run from just inside the area left-hand side, but he snatched at it and it went way, way wide. But Holgate just let the ball bounce and go beyond him, and Proctor was in behind him, 0-0.
Yeah, a little bit casual there. A couple of moments there for Proctor. One where he broke wide on the right, and his crossing's poor. He's got to keep his composure there. And again, it's a great forward run, gets between the lines. A little bit casual there, Holgate. He's got to keep his composure. Could have got right in the box there.
Neil Redfern alongside me in the commentary box here at Goodison Park. Couple of minutes gone. Everton 0, Rotherham 0 on TalkSport 2. And Rotherham have possession with from the left-hand side into the centre circle. Semi Ajayi plays a first-time ball up to try and find David Ball. Doesn't quite break for him, but Jamie Proctor tries to pick up the pieces. Now Matty Palmer for Rotherham works the ball back to Clark Robertson. Robertson just turns away from Sandro's, playing on the right-hand side for Everton in a kind of a 4 in midfield. Sigurdsson on the left, Dowell and Davis in the middle. And it's been won back by Kieran Dowell. Finds his captain Tom Davis, and immediately Niasse tries to release Cal down the left-hand side of the area, but he was watched all the way by Semi Ajayi. And that means that Calvert-Lewin's forced to put the ball out of play for a Rotherham throw right in front of their own spectators in that far stand. It's 0-0.
Yeah, good defending by Ajay. Read the run, got his body in and just turned him away and ended up winning the throwing for Rotherham. But Rotherham have started quite well here.
Was initially on loan, Semi Ajay, when he arrived from Cardiff. Ball over, and Proctor was nearly in behind, but offside flag went up. Early goal at the City Ground in Forest 1, Newcastle 0. Daryl Murphy puts Forest ahead against his former club. That game is live over on Talk Sport with Sam Matterface and Matt Holland at the City Ground. Here on Talk Sport 2, we're concentrating on this game between Everton and Rotherham United. Premier League against Championship. It's goalless. We played 3.5 minutes, and Kurt Zouma has the ball at his feet. He's just closed down by Ball, so he rolls the ball to his right for Mason Holgate. Early ball into the Rotherham half, down the right-hand side for John Joe Kelly, who slides in Ramirez further down the right-hand side. Newell's gone to try and close him down. Kenny has it back, plays a little 1-2 with Tom Davis. Now Sandro has it again, right-hand side, flicks it further down the right channel for Tom Davis, who wins a throw off Matty Palmer. And it's a throw to Everton, a couple of yards from the corner flag as they head towards the park end in this first half.
Yeah, good play by Everton, but really diligent defending there by Rotherham. Stay with the runners, tracked them well, stood up.
Kenny with the throw for Everton. Nias comes short down by the corner flag right-hand side. Feeds it back to John Joe Kenny. First time ball to the right-hand corner of the box from Calvert-Lewin. Almost slid in Ramirez. But now it's Jamie Proctor working hard on this near side. It forces Mason Holgate to put the ball out of play right in front of Paul Warne, who's technical area. Both Paul Warne and Marco Silva are track-suited and football booted tonight for this game. And here comes the throw from Clark Robertson for Rotherham. Looking for Jamie Proctor. Looked like John Joe Kenny had a fair old chunk of his shirt, but referee Graham Scott waves play on. Kieran Dow rides a challenge in the centre circle and tries to feed the ball out left for Lucas Digne, but I was asking the left back, couldn't keep it in play, and Rotherham have a throw. It's 0-0, 5 minutes gone on Talk Sport 2.
Yeah, just look at how both sides have started, and they've got quite a bit of possession, Everton, but Rotherham are set up well. Just the tempo of the passing is a little bit low. It needs to be quicker. You know, they need to move the ball about quicker. Switch play. Test this Rotherham structure and this Rotherham setup.
Well, Rotherham have possession again, and Clark Robertson advancing from left back into the Everton half. Plays the ball along the deck into the feet of David Ball, the captain, trying to run away from Mason Holgate. John Joe Kenny tries to snap back at him, but Ball does really well. Plays it back to Matty Palmer. Palmer into the edge of the area. Little touch. Finds Joe Newell left-hand side, rolls it across the face of God at the far post. It's almost slid in. Anthony Ford was out there, but it's pounced upon in the end by Stecklenburg. But Rotherham are asking questions of Everton, 0-0.
Yeah, the most dangerous moment of the game so far. It's a great ball from Newell, right across the 6-yard box, and he's just begging to be tapped in at the far post. But I think Proctor had made his run to the near, and there's nothing there for Rotherham at the back post. But looking vulnerable here, Everton.
They beat Wigan by 3-1 in the first round in Rotherham United, and Jamie Proctor got a couple of those goals, having come back from a cruciate ligament injury that ruled him out for most of last season. And Proctor and Ball were given their chance in that game up front, as they have been tonight. Normally you'd find Michael Smith up front with also Carl Vassell up front, as they were against Millwall. But Ball and Proctor are enjoying themselves out there in these early stages, and Rotherham have won themselves a free kick for a foul by Sandro. Is it a 4-4-2 for Everton, Neil Redfern, or is it a 4-3-3?
It's a flexible 4-4-2. Yeah, there's quite a bit of movement. Obviously, you've got a lot of strikers out there on the pitch for Everton, but
Proctor lets it run for Ball. Out to the left-hand side for Joe Newell for Rotherham. Tries to ride the challenge of John Joe Kenny, but that's good defending by Kenny. Plays the ball up to Umar Nias on the halfway line. God, nutmegs his man there, Ben Wiles, and runs through the centre of the field. Clips it out to the left-hand corner of the box where Sigurdsson waits. Sigurdsson held up by Jai. Lovely back heel for Digne. Now Nias, about 12 yards out, tries to get the shot away, but Joe Newell back to make the block, and Anthony Ford will try and complete the clearance for Rotherham. A push in the back on an Everton player, Nias, and the Toffees have a free kick out on the far side, but Nias just couldn't quite pull the trigger when 12 yards out.
No, I think he could have hit that first time, if I'm honest. It's a great pullback, but you see the difference in Everton when they decide to go up the gears. They just cut through this Rotherham side. It went just ever so quickly, got in and around the box. It's good little bit of build-up play. Everything's passing, they're slick and quick. This is what we're talking about. That tempo of the passing, this is what Rotherham will struggle with.
Well, the free kick for Everton is midway point of the Rotherham half, right out on the left-hand touchline for Everton. And Lucas Digne and Gylfi Sigurdsson are standing over the ball. It remains to be seen which of those is going to strike it. It's a left-footed outswinger from Digne, deep to the far post, over the head of Calvert-Lewin, who was the intended target. And Calvert-Lewin can't keep it in play as the ball runs at pace through to this near side, the Goodison Road stand. It's going to be a throw for Rotherham, deep in their own half then, that Clark Robertson is going to take, wearing number 15 for Rotherham, mainly a centre-back. Spent quite a few years at Aberdeen before he's moved to Blackpool a couple of years ago. Joined Rotherham this summer, did Clark Robertson. His throw down the line is intercepted by John Joe Kenny. Kieran Dow, who had a good loan spell at Nottingham Forest last year and won a lot of friends for the way went about his business at the City Ground, and the ball's guided back to Martin Stecklenburg, and Everton will try again. 8.5 gone on TalkSport 2. It's 0-0 in the Carabao Cup between Everton and Rotherham United. Zuma gets up towards the halfway line before Ball closes him down. Floats the ball down the left channel. Digne and Sigurdsson combining neatly. Sigurdsson's away. Left-hand side, swings across in over the head of Calvert-Lewin. Robertson across from full-back to head clear. But Tom Davies tidies up for Everton, and Zuma has it once more for the Toffees. Digne clips it infield for Kieran Dow. Just showed a bit too much of that to Matty Palmer, and away come Rotherham with a chance to counter. Joe Newell floats the ball up looking for Jamie Proctor. Kurt Zuma climbed and just about won the header and kept it away from Proctor, but the clearance from Everton only goes to halfway, and it's picked up by the yellow shirts of Rotherham and Semi Ajayi. Ben Wiles plays the ball infield to Matty Palmer. Very young midfield for central midfield for Rotherham tonight. Ben Wiles is only 19 years of age, come through the Rotherham Academy, and Matt Palmer's only 23.
I just noticed there, Dan, there's 2 or 3 times there, 2 or 3 instances where they broke play up really well, Rotherham, and just took a little bit more care with that pass to get out. I think they could have really got at Everton, but they're a little bit tatty with the passing. Just got to tidy things up a little bit.
They've got a free kick though, right by the centre circle, just inside the Everton half. Joe Newell's going to take it, left-footed into the area. Players up from the back. Robertson's in there, and it's put behind by Mason Holgate for a corner to Rotherham United at the Gladys Street end. There were a couple flying in there. Raggett was coming in, and so too Robertson, but Holgate did just enough to concede the corner.
It's great quality from Newell. It's a great ball. It's curling in towards the goalkeeper, Stecklenburg, but he stayed on his line, and it causes all sorts of problems for the Everton defence, and in the end it's Mason Holgate who manages to just shuffle it behind for a corner for Rotherham.
Anthony Ford, wearing number 7 for Rotherham, is going to take this first corner of the game. Matty Palmer's there right by him in case he wants to play a short routine. Sandro's keeping an eye on that. Ford raises his left arm. Everton doing a bit of zonal marking. 4 players standing along the 6-yard line. It is played short to Matty Palmer. Tried to slide it into the near post, but Sandro came out quickly and blocked it, and it's a throw to Rotherham instead, 0-0.
Yeah, interesting there. 2 out for the corner for Rotherham, and only 1 out to defend it for Everton. You know, if they'd have been a little bit slicker there with the movement, Rotherham, they could have got that 2v1 situation and caused Everton a problem.
Throw taken by Clark Robertson, down for Matty Palmer, who swings the ball in right-footed, or tries to, but it's blocked away again by Sandro Ramirez. Another throw to Rotherham. This one's midway point of the Everton half, down the Rotherham left. Robertson looks for Proctor, heads it back to Ball. Ball into the area for Joe Newell, tries to guide it back to David Ball. Now it's out to the left-hand side, and Proctor clips the ball in, headed clear by Zuma, only as far as Matty Palmer. Does well to guide it back down for Robertson, who tried to lift it over the top for Newell. But Everton are trying to play their way out of trouble. They almost played their way into trouble at the back before Holgate just thumps the ball downfield, and Calvert-Lewin rose brilliantly to nod the ball down for Nias. Sandro, hugging the near touchline on the Everton right, has to go back into his own half and find Holgate. Now Everton have got a bit of space with which to build. Tom Davies, who's captain in the Everton side tonight, finds Zuma back in his own half, making his first start tonight for Everton following his loan move from Chelsea. Speaking very positively about his move in the pre-match press conference, Kurt Zuma. But they've given the ball away, Everton, as they tried to build through midfield. Palmer has it for Rotherham and hits an aimless ball over the top, in truth, way ahead of Jamie Proctor and David Ball, and Stecklenburg will guide it down to Kurt Zuma. 12.5 gone on TalkSport 2. It's Everton 0, Rotherham 0, and I've got the former Rotherham boss, Neil Redfern, alongside us tonight.
Yeah, just an interesting point there. It's, just Sandro always setting up there on the right hand side, and every time Kenny picks it up, the fullback, he takes his little movements inside, and Kenny gets on the outside and goes and overlaps. So it's obviously a ploy. They're trying to shift the fullback out of the way, out of the equation for Rotherham. Got down the sides 2 or 3 times now, Everton, but just not managed to get something off the end of it.
Yeah, long ball downfield intended for Sigurdsson was overhit, and it's going to be a Rotherham goal kick for Lewis Price to take. The score is Everton 0, Rotherham 0. On TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. For the latest offers, you can just visit your local store or head to screwfix.com. Here when you need us. Lewis Price, who kept goal in the game against Wigan. He was released and then re-signed by Rotherham this summer after an initial 2-year deal had elapsed. His kick downfield almost finds Jamie Proctor. Holgate hooks clear. Nias tries to chest it down for a teammate, but in steps Ben Wiles, and he's won a free kick actually for his team as Ben Wiles. Sigurdsson got a bit too close for comfort as far as Graham Scott was concerned. Rotherham have another free kick just by the centre circle on the other side, to the left-hand side of the centre circle for Joe Newell to strike another set piece here.
Yeah, they've had enough good occasions in the game at the moment, Rotherham, to force at least a shot on target, and they need to make hay while they're on top.
Plenty of encouragement for the Millers in these early stages. 14 gone. Newell's free kick again deep to the far post, almost sent back across goal by Raggett. It drifts out to the right-hand side for Anthony Ford, who's up against Sigurdsson out on the far side. Ford being forced back towards the right-hand corner of the box, tried to put it through the legs of Sigurdsson and charge for the byline, but put too much on it, and it's behind for an Everton goal kick. 0-0 with 14 and a half gone.
Good defending by Sigurdsson, to be fair. Not something that you associate with him, but he doesn't half work hard for his teammates. Obviously he's picking up that position on the left-hand side. It's not natural to him, but
well, that's a position he was playing a lot under Sam Allardyce last season, and the theory was that wasn't where he was at his best. He's obviously just doing it. He's more central. He was far more central against Bournemouth on Saturday. He was the one in behind Toshin in the 4-4-1-1.
Yeah, but he doesn't look out of place, Stance. You know, he looks comfortable out there. He's obviously a good footballer. You know, he's comfortable wherever you put him on the pitch.
But he's a bit more peripheral tonight in terms of his involvement in the game. Everton in possession inside their own half, 0-0. It's Kurt Zuma receiving the ball from his centre-half partner Mason Holgate. Of course, still no Phil Jagielka at the moment, currently serving that ban for the sending off at Wolverhampton Wanderers. And that completes tonight, so it'll be interesting to see whether he's involved against Huddersfield here on Saturday. Semi Ajayi can bring the ball clear for Rotherham. Ball clipped downfield looking for David Ball. Zuma heads it up in the air. Davis tries to keep it away from one man, but he's running to Joe Newell. Newell bringing the ball down the left-hand side, but then runs into Sandro Ramirez, who's come back to help his defenders out. And Ramirez tries to pass the ball up to Calvert-Lewin on halfway. He gets it in the end because it wasn't a good enough touch from Ben Wiles. And now here is Sigurdsson for Everton. Down the left-hand side, cutting in field, slotting the ball into the area, looking for Kieran Dow, but Sean Raggett watched it all the way. Clears away right-footed, but only as far as Lucas Digne. Touches it in field for Tom Davis. Midway point of the Rotherham half. Now Umar Nias. Nias just held up for a moment by Anthony Ford, so the ball goes all the way back to Zuma. Everybody bar Stecklenburg in the Rotherham half at the moment. Zuma on halfway, squares it for Mason Holgate. Holgate looks up, thought about hitting a diagonal forward, but Kieran Dow's come short to receive the ball from him. Zuma again for Everton, slides the ball out to the left and Digne. Only Calvert-Lewin in the area just at the moment for Everton. Here's Nias coming short to receive the ball from Digne. Clips it in field for Dow. Back it goes again to Zuma. A lot of possession here from Everton, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, I just think that Rotherham have got to be careful here, because if they sit back too deep, this Everton side is clever enough to pick holes in them.
Here's Digne picking the ball up. Left-hand side, level with the edge of the area. Hits across against Anthony Ford. Palmer heads clear for Rotherham, only as far as Davis. Digne again just dinks it up in the air to the left-hand corner of the box, trying to get Nias to win the header. Does come down eventually for Umar Nias with his back to the penalty area. Tried to play it infield for Calvert-Lewin. Dowell chipped it over the top, looking for Nias on the run. Just intercepted in the nick of time. But you can hear the Everton fans encouraged, but they keep winning possession back, and they're still camped in the Rotherham half.
Well, if you look at all the players, they're all in Rotherham's half. The Everton players and the Rotherham players, and Rotherham don't want to let Everton get a stranglehold on this game, because they're clever enough to move the ball about. They're just starting to come off the positions now, off the shape. Good movement by Everton. They're just trying to find the space now.
Offside flag goes up against Calvert-Lewin to give Rotherham a breather. So we played 17.5 minutes on TalkSport 2. And it's Everton 0, Rotherham United 0. The only other goal we got for you so far tonight is that early goal for Daryl Murphy of Nottingham Forest against his old club Newcastle United. That game's live over on TalkSport with Sam Matterface and Matt Holland, your commentary team at the City Ground. Here on 2, well, we're concerned with what's going on here at a respectably full Goodison Park. Did wonder how many of those empty seats in the park end in the Gladys Street end will be filled before kick-off. Can't see many blue seats anywhere, Neil Redford.
No, it's a fantastic turnout. And I think it's credit to how Everton have started the season, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, it's a new dawn, it's a new era.
Well, dare I ask, would a Sam Allardyce Everton side have got this many people turning up?
Well, yeah, exactly. But I think that
you don't have to answer that.
No, it's obviously captured the, you know, the people of Everton. It's obviously captured the imagination. And if you look at the football, the type of football that they're playing, they're having the ball in tight areas, prepare to keep it, get the bodies in the way, they're twisting and turning and moving this Rotherham side about. It's good to watch. It's been a good game actually so far.
Yeah, Rotherham have made their own contribution to this game too. 18 minutes gone on TalkSport 2. Everton in possession with their captain for the night, Tom Davies. Holgate picks it up and strides into the Rotherham half, clips a pacey ball out to the right-hand side for John Joe Kenny. Early ball into the box, looking for Calvert-Lewin. He was just put under pressure by Semi Ajayi. Proctor holds the ball up, and then Newell slides a lovely ball over the halfway line for Ball. Ball plays the ball back in field for Joe Newell. Newell's got runners making forward. Ben Wiles was making a great run through the centre, just checked his run, and Newell by that time was being put under severe pressure by Umar Niasse and played too heavy a pass straight through to Stecklenburg. 0-0.
He should have played the pass, he thought, straight away. It was out there, out on the right hand side for Rotherham. I think it was Ball making the run, but like I said before, they've got in some good positions, Rotherham. It's just having that little bit more belief, that little bit more quality with the final ball.
They've lost both their championship games away from home of Rotherham, conceding 7 goals in the process. And they've not won here at Everton since November 1952. That was in the old Div 2 days. Because ever since I've been on this planet, Everton have been a perennial of the top flight. But there was a time where Everton were not an old First Division side. Rotherham back at that second tier, having spent the season down in League One. Here's Tom Davies for Everton. Out to the left-hand side, looking for Gylfi Sigurdsson to whip a lovely ball in, looking for Niasse, but that was well defended by Sean Raggett. It's one back by Everton. Strong work on the right-hand side. Sandro Ramirez clipping the ball in, misses out. Calvert-Lewin, Sigurdsson gets the shot in. It's saved by Price, and he just pounces on the loose ball before Calvert-Lewin slides it into the 6-yard box. And Price has been hurt, as Calvert-Lewin was right to go for the rebound because Price spilt the shot from Gylfi Sigurdsson. 0-0.
Yeah, first bit of real goal-mouth action. It's a great strike on goal, and he does well, Price, to get down to it, but it comes off him with 2 or 3 Everton bodies charging in on him, and he's brave, gets himself down there and gathers the ball at the second attempt. But great play by Everton. He's impressed me out on the right-hand side here, Sandro. He's done it quite well. He's obviously not his natural position, but he's given Everton good width, and he's come off the line, he's linked in well. It's a good ball across to pick Calvert-Lewin out. It's a great strike on goal.
Well, he's a Ronald Koeman signing from Malaga, and he was quickly out of favour at Everton. Went to Sevilla on loan for the second half of last season. Sandro didn't score whilst he was playing in La Liga, 17 appearances, but he's got an opportunity tonight. And it's much as players like Fuchs and Albrighton for Leicester, Neil Redfern, showed last night, you know, that this is an opportunity to show their manager, I'm ready if you need me for the league campaign.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously it's not his natural position, out wide, but he's adapted to it quite well. He's got good vision, good awareness. Time of his movement's been excellent.
You've missed none of the action here, incidentally, because Price is only just back on his feet. He's okay to continue, the Rotherham goalkeeper, having made that save in the end, as Calvert-Lewin slid in, and he'll take the resulting goal kick or free kick with 22 minutes gone. We're almost at the midway point of the first half on Matchday Live 2 on TalkSport 2. Remember, our next Premier League offering is Saturday afternoon, and we're back at the London Stadium for West Ham United against Wolverhampton Wanderers. John Motson and Perry Groves will be your commentary team whilst I take a weekend off. Kurt Zuma in possession for Everton. Out to the left-hand side, and Lucas Digne clips the ball in field for Tom Davies. just spins away from Jamie Proctor and sends a lovely ball back out to the left-hand side where Digne had advanced down towards the byline, keeps it away from one Rotherham player, goes into the area, almost breaks for Sigurdsson 10 yards out, but it's volleyed away in the end by Zach Viner, and Zuma has to go back into his own half to retrieve possession for Everton, 0-0.
Look how expansive this Everton side is, Dance. You know, they've got great width, they're in a good position, they're comfortable in possession, and you can see that Rotherham's giving that respect now, where they're just dropping back in into two banks of four with two strikers dropping in as well, just working across the pitch. But it's all Everton, I have to say.
Kieran Dow plays the ball out to Digne on the left-hand side, who works it back to Zuma just ahead of the halfway line. Once again, everybody but Stecklenburg is in that right-hand half of the field that we're looking at from our vantage point, halfway up the Goodison Road stand. Jamie Proctor is clipped by Mason Holgate. Is he? No, Holgate's won it back cleanly and brings the ball forward for Everton. Looks for Umar Niasse, who tries to ride the challenge of Sean Raggett. And Raggett just hit the ball against Niasse's chest, and it trickled out to the right-hand side of the area where Lewis Price went to collect, and it stays goalless midway through the first half on TalkSport 2.
I tell you what, he's a lucky boy there, Ajayi, because he gets ahead of the ball as the ball gets played in. It's a good turn away from Niasse, and he's got a chance there on goal.
Good bring down from Jamie Proctor down the left-hand side, and wins a throw off Mason Holgate. Price just whacked the ball downfield, and Proctor brought the ball down on his thigh and spun away from Holgate and invited the challenge. And Robertson will now have a long throw for Rotherham. Proctor's there at the near post. Newell's there too, further down by the corner flag, and that's where the ball's gone. Newell now tries to bring the ball down, hooks it over his head into the area. Holgate then plays it out for a throw-in right down by the corner flag on this left-hand side.
He's caused him a problem, Proctor. You know, he's obviously he's a big, powerful boy, and he's backed in and pushed and shoved. He's timed his runs well. Just lacks a little bit of quality in that final third, but a real handful.
Robertson again with the throw for Rotherham United. Looks for Joe Newell again. He's just got away from Sandro. Tries to head for the byline. Clips the ball into the near post, and that's a comfortable claim in the end for Stecklenburg at his near post. Bowls the ball after Kieran Dowell. Early ball, good ball to this near side, the Everton right, and Sandro, who advances over the halfway line. John Joe Kenny joins in on the overlap. Midway point of the half. Plays the ball in field for Kieran Dowell. Looks for Kenny once more. Rotherham are back in their positions, trying to keep a tight, compact shape in their defensive third of the field. So the ball's gone back to Mason Holgate, and Everton will try and switch the play from right to left, and they do. Out to Lucas Digne on that far side of the field. Digne has got Sigurdsson making a run down the left-hand side, but he rolls the ball back to Kurt Zuma. Just pushing and prodding, looking for an opening here, Everton. 0-0 on TalkSport 2. Calvert-Lewin picks the ball up with his back to goal, right-hand corner of the box. Kenny plays in Sandro, down the right wing. Tries to get past Robertson, puts a decent ball in, but in actual fact it's too close to the keeper, Lewis Price. He can comfortably claim it his near post. 0-0, 25 gone.
Yeah, just watching Everton there as he broke into Rotherham's half, and it's too easy to turn out and play safe. I think they've had that much possession and they're in such a good shape to move the ball. I think sometimes in the final third you've got to put the ball at risk a little bit, you know, to try and create and try and open the opposition up.
Neil Redfern alongside me, Ian Dante here at Goodison Park. 4 Carabao Cup ties being played tonight. And the only goal we have so far is that goal to Nottingham Forest against Newcastle United in our TalkSport commentary game. Here on TalkSport 2, it's Everton 0, Rotherham 0 with 26 minutes played on Merseyside. Sandro Ramirez has to go back to Mason Holgate, who's been clearly given an opportunity to prove himself as a regular centre-half for Everton under Marco Silva. Long ball down the left from Digne looking for Sigurdsson, but that's way over hit, but Price elects to catch it rather than let it go behind for a goal kick, so we can clear from hands downfield, the Rotherham goalkeeper.
I think he started quite well as well, Dowell in midfield. He's looked confident on the ball, he's picked up some good positions. Not frightened to thread the ball and pick out people.
Forget how young he is. He's only 20, Kieran Dowell. Looks a little older than those 20 years of age. He scored 10 on loan at Nottingham Forest last year. Made his Premier League debut against Bournemouth back in April 2016. He's won a free kick, which is now picked up by Sandro Ramirez. Right hand side, looks to play in Kieran Dowell. Down by the byline, rolls it back to Ramirez, inside the area, the angle's tight to the right-hand side, flies it across the face of goal, and Sigurdsson touches it home from 6 yards out, and Everton hit the front just prior to the half hour through Gylfi Sigurdsson. Ball played across the area, and he stuck out a left leg and diverted it past Lewis Price. Everton 1, Rotherham 0.
I tell you what, you've got to give good credit to young Kenny and Sandro out here on the right. They link up ever so well to work Sandro into the box. But it's too easy for him. You know, if you look at Rotherham, it's too easy for him to get half a yard and whip that ball across. And to be fair to Sigurdsson, he's Johnny on the spot. But it's no more than Everton deserve. They've been the better side. They've played the more measured football. You know, I think that after starting quite well, Rotherham, they've sort of just dropped into this two banks of four with two up. And Rotherham are finding their feet now. Everton are finding their feet, sorry.
Well, Gylfi Sigurdsson hasn't scored since last February against Crystal Palace in the Premier League. That'll do him no end of good as he puts Everton in front here on TalkSport 2 with 28 minutes played. Everton 1, Rotherham United 0.
Old Charlie Hughes would have been proud of that. One winger crossing it, the other one coming in the back stick. POMO position, wasn't it? Position of maximum opportunity.
POMO, absolutely. There's an acronym that I've known for quite a while. So Everton in front, but Rotherham trying to force the issue and get back into it. They have a throw level with the edge of the Everton penalty area. In fact, it's a free kick that's been awarded by Graham Scott. Level with the edge of the box, and Anthony Ford will try and swing this in right-footed from the Rotherham left to try and get in between centre-halves and goalkeeper Stecklenburg. Only a one-man wall of Sandro Ramirez standing down the left-hand side of the Everton penalty area. In it comes from Ford. Up go the heads. It's flicked towards goal, and Zuma heads it behind for a corner. So nearly diverted it past his own keeper and into the net. Corner Rotherham, but Everton lead by a goal to 0.
I tell you what, anything that's come in the box with a little bit of quality from Rotherham, they've looked suspect. Everton, they've not got real quality. They've not got real distance and any clearance. They're struggling to deal with this big Rotherham side. And they've got good deliverers in Newell and Ford. And this is where it could be Rotherham's way back into this game.
Going to be Ford to take the resulting corner from the right-hand side for Rotherham United. Ball's now come short to the edge of the area. It's volleyed in and cleared away by Calvert-Lewin. Back to Ford, who lofts a deep ball to the far post. Up goes Stecklenburg, and that's a good claim from the Everton keeper. Falls to the ground, clutches onto it, and the danger passes for the Toffees. 1-0.
Yeah, I think the big fella's got to help his back forward out here. Stecklenburg, I think he's got to try and command this 6-yard box and come and get these crosses, even if he's coming and getting a fist on it or just helping it out the back stick, because you know Holgate's not the biggest. Zuma, yeah, but he's got his hands full with this big Rotherham.
Good Calvert-Lewin for Tom Davies, who rolls the ball square to Lucas Digne, picking it up midway point of the Rotherham half. Sigurdsson again. Sandro Ramirez blocks, and Sigurdsson on the follow-up hits it over the bar. Sandro whipped it, a right-footed effort. Price couldn't hold on to it, but Sigurdsson couldn't apply the finish from close range. But Everton have got the taste for it now, you have to say. With half an hour gone, they lead Rotherham by a goal to 0 on TalkSport 2.
To be fair, that's a couple now that's come off Price. And they're looking for the rebounds, they're looking for the second ball. Everton has managed to just get away with both occasions, but it's a fantastic strike and goal to begin with.
Score here, Everton 1, Rotherham 0 on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix, proud sponsors of the EFL, here when you need us. And we have EFL commentaries Friday night and Sunday lunchtime for you. And a couple of Champions League goals have gone in tonight. PSV 1, Bate Borisov 0, and PAOK 1, Benfica 0. So PAOK have a 2-1 aggregate lead over the Portuguese side, and PSV now 4-2 up on Bate Borisov with those goals that have gone in. No further goals in the Carabao Cup other than the one we have here and the one at Nottingham Forest, where Forest lead Newcastle by a Daryl Murphy goal to 0. Rotherham a goal behind here, have a throw down their right hand side. It's picked up on halfway by Matty Palmer, but he loses that to Umar Niasse, who tried to clip the ball forward for Calvert-Lewin, who'd started a different run, and the ball went away from him. And now Jamie Proctor's giving chase down the right hand side for Rotherham, trying to muscle his way past Lucas Digne. Rolls it back for Matty Palmer, hit a first time ball into the area. Joe Newell heads it back across the face of goal onto the chest of Tom Davies. A few claims for a penalty not given as Tom Davies brings the ball away. Here's Sandro Ramirez, crossfield pass, looking for Nias. Lovely ball from Sandro. Here is Nias inside the area. Can't get past the right back, Zach Viner, who got the ball clear, but only up to halfway. Now is John Joe Kenny for Everton. Infield to Sandro Ramirez. Tom Davies finds Kurt Zouma. Everton 1, Rotherham 0, and we've got, just over 12 minutes until half-time on TalkSport 2. So Leeds against Borough on Friday night and the Old Farm Derby on Sunday lunchtime. Your EFL commentaries this weekend on your home of the EFL, TalkSport 2. Here's Gylfi Sigurdsson, who put Everton in front on 27 minutes. Kieran Dow rolls the ball out left to Lucas Digne. Rotherham quite deep at this point. Dowell again, midway point of the Rotherham half, just to the left of centre, rolls it back out left to Digne, trying to take on Viner, whips a lovely ball in just over the head of Calvert-Lewin, and Robertson feels as though he has to head it behind at the park end for an Everton corner. Their first of the game, and 1-0 they lead.
Yeah, he's another good performer this half, Digne. It's a great ball in, that with his left foot, and you've got to be looking at Sandro coming in the back stick. There's another one that's done well tonight, but it's quite comfortable for Everton, not what Rotherham want.
So Gylfi Sigurdsson to take the corner, although he's got a bit of assistance if he needs it from Digne, who might take a left-footed in-swinger. There's two Rotherham players who've come out in case they were at the short corner routine. Just having a little mother's meeting there, the pair of them, Digne and Sigurdsson, about what they're going to do with this corner kick from the right-hand side at the park end. And eventually I think Digne's decided he's going to play this in left-footed. In it goes from Digne to the 6-yard box, headed clear by Proctor, back doing his defending and doing it well. Headed out only as far as Sandro. Now Digne clips it down the right-hand side of the box for Sigurdsson, just keeps it away from the attentions of Ben Wiles and clips the ball into the area. Nias tries to ride a couple of challenges, almost came away with it. Matty Palmer rolls it back to his keeper and Price gets it clear.
That's a couple of times Nias has been in good positions. His touch has just let him down slightly when he's running into the box, but he's picking up good positions.
Rotherham a goal down to Everton here on TalkSport 2. It's just over 10 minutes to the break. Gylfi Sigurdsson with the goal for the Toffees, and they're in possession again, the home side, with Mason Holgate just advancing towards the halfway line. John Joe Kenny in for Seamus Coleman tonight at right back. Plays the ball infield for Kieran Dow, tries to roll the challenge of Matty Palmer, plays the ball out right to Sandro Ramirez. Kenny on the underlap, wins a corner for Everton off Clark Robertson, again at the park end, 1-0.
That's been a good combination for Everton down this right hand side. Sandro and Kenny, they've linked in quite well. There's that good movement, Sandro off the line, and Kenny's took the space really well. There's a lot of where of Everton's good attacking players come from.
And once again Sigurdsson and Digne will come together where the Goodison Road stand meets the park end. Is it going to be the same again? Is it going to be Digne with an in-swinger? He's going to leave it for Sigurdsson for an out-swinger this time. Still two Rotherham players 10 yards back watching for a short corner, but here comes distant from Sigurdsson, hooked up in the air by Calvert-Lewin. In fact, Holgate went in at the near post, but Lewis Price can claim, wearing his all-orange goalkeeping get-up tonight. Less than 10 to play in the first half on TalkSport 2. Everton have that goal advantage. Price clears from hands downfield, gets a very high loft on the clearance. Up goes Proctor. Ball bounces beyond him, but he gets it back at the edge of the centre circle, and that's a good ball for Viner to charge onto down the Rotherham right. Ford showing from further down the right-hand side. Anthony Ford held up by Zouma. Matty Palmer calling for it infield. Palmer picks it up now, turns away from Sigurdsson, plays the ball into the feet of his skipper David Ball. Now out to the right hand side, and Viner once more driving infield from the right hand touchline. Still going Zach Viner into the area, puts it across for David Ball, and his shot is blocked away by Holgate for a corner kick to Rotherham at the Gladys Street end. 1-0 Everton.
Good play by Viner, but poor defending from Everton. He's allowed to travel right into the box and he keeps going. He slips a great ball to David Ball. He's just got to get himself round that. Just manages to slip and deflects off an Everton defender and goes out for a corner, but better from Rotherham.
So they'll have a corner at the Gladys Street end, and it's taken short to Matty Palmer. Again, Everton have gone to sleep a little bit. Ford gets it back. and tries to whip a ball in with his left. Doesn't get quite the curl in it, but it breaks for Joe Newell at the edge of the D. Tries to roll a couple of challenges. It's poked away half cleared by John Joe Kenny. Back to Newell though. Clips the ball along the face of goal, and a complete miss by Sean Raggett. 6 yards out. Lovely ball across from Newell, and Raggett, who'd stayed forward from the back, tried to clip it home, but got it all wrong and shanked it over the bar, and it stays 1-0 to Everton.
That's a sitter. That's a great chance. It's good play by Newell, and all he does, he doesn't even look, he just feels that ball across around the back of this Everton defence, and that's where you want Proctor or Ball coming onto it. It's not, it's Raggett, and it's a defender's finish.
Well, he has scored already this season, Sean Raggett, but he didn't look likely there. Body shape was all wrong, and he knew it as well. Hands on top of his head as he ran away from the penalty area. Here's John Joe Kenny for Everton. Oh, he dummies Newell, gets into the area right hand side, tries to square it across, but that was a good interception this time from Sean Raggett doing his defending. But Calvert-Lewin now has it back. Right hand corner of the box, has to send it back for Mason Holgate. Now Zuma in the centre circle as Everton switch from right to left. Digne for the Toffees. Goes back to Kurt Zuma again. Clips it square for Mason Holgate. Holgate drives forward 10 yards. Plays the ball in field for Tom Davis. A difficult ball to control, but he did it well. Davis has it, clips it just to the left for Sigurdsson. Early ball up to the edge of the area. Back heel from Calvert-Lewin. Almost put in Nias. And then Ajayi makes a complete mess of the attempted clearance. Sigurdsson back for Davis. Good save, Lewis Price. Right on his goal line. Davis with a low daisy cutter. And Price, low down to his right, kept it at 1-0 to Everton.
That's a fantastic save from the goalkeeper. The build-up and the play from Everton superb. One touch quick play in and around the box. And it ends up with Davis. It's a goal-bound shot. It's going in. Keeps it down well. Kills it away from the goalkeeper. What a fantastic save.
Everton have it again though with Kieran Dow sliding it down the left for Digne with a first-time ball in field intended for Nias, but Ajayi, who was far too casual in his own box there a couple of moments ago that allowed Everton to get that chance, clears it away with more distance this time, and the ball's now back with Martin Stekelenburg in the Everton penalty area. Another Champions League goal has gone in. PAOK 1, Benfica 1. Jardel equalises for Benfica, therefore it's 2-2 on aggregate, and as it stands, that Champions League playoff tie would go to extra time. There wouldn't be any extra time here tonight if things were level at 90 minutes. We go straight to penalties in the Carabao Cup now, but Everton have the lead, and they have just over 5 minutes of this first half to negotiate with that 1-goal lead given to them by Gylfi Sigurdsson. You're listening to TalkSport 2. That's good skill from Jamie Proctor on halfway. Joe Newell placing his captain David Ball for Rotherham. Plays the ball back into the centre of the Everton half for Matt Palmer. Out to this near side, the Rotherham left, and Joe Newell. Back for Clark Robertson. Newell has it again. Might think about driving at John Joe Kenny this time. He's almost level with the edge of the Everton penalty area. Went to ground under pressure from John Joe Kenny, but no free kick, says Graham Scott. And Everton bring it away with Dowell up to the halfway line. Good ball from Nias infield to Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson rolls it early out to the inside left channel for Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin steps inside, tries to drive, and that's well saved by Lewis Price at the edge of his 6-yard box. And he clutches onto it gratefully. Everton 1, Rotherham 0.
Yeah, good strike by Calvert-Lewin. Kids on and comes inside really well on his good foot, his right foot. Price is equal to it. He manages to hold on to that one, doesn't come off him because there's Everton players following that in again.
Price clears deep downfield. Proctor again trying to make a nuisance of himself up against Mason Holgate, but it will be a throw to Everton. Proctor couldn't do quite enough. A little shove in the chest of Holgate. Frustration from Proctor as he couldn't get the possession he wanted. So it'll be a throw for John Joe Kenny and Everton. Thrown in field to Nias to try and do something with it. He's won another throw a little bit further down the right hand side. What's Paul Warne going to be saying to his players at half-time?
Yeah, I think he'll be a little bit disappointed, to be honest. After a half-decent start, first 10-15 minutes, I just think they've laid down a little bit here, Rotherham, which is not like them. And they've just allowed this Everton side to come on to them. Yeah, they're a good side, and they're a good football side, but they're giving them far too much space.
Sandro Ramirez on the halfway line for Everton. Plays a neat ball right to left, appreciated by the home support. Everton 1, Rotherham 0 on TalkSport 2 if you're just tuning into our Carabao Cup live commentary. Dominic Calvert-Lewin finds the skipper Tom Davis, plays the ball back to Calvert-Lewin, 25 yards out, trying to work the angle, but Rotherham win it back. Proctor, good strength inside his own half to keep the ball away from John Joe Kenny, then clips the ball down the inside left channel asking for David Ball to give chase, but it had drifted out of play from that ball downfield from Proctor. I could see Mason Holgate just holding his right hamstring there, having pulled up from that run with David Proctor. Keep an eye on that, because he's just moving a little awkwardly, having run down that right-hand side of the field, Mason Holgate. Another Champions League goal, meantime. PAOK 1, Benfica 2. Salvio, a precious away goal from the penalty spot for Benfica. So that's 3-2 on aggregate, and now PAOK have to score twice to get through to the group stages of the Champions League. Zuma picks the ball up for Everton. 2.5 minutes to go, plus added time in this first half. Everton 1, Rotherham 0. Davis skips away from Wiles and finds Nias. Little intelligent ball square left for Sigurdsson. Now Digne looks for Nias once again down the left-hand side of the area. Calvert-Lewin on the 6-yard line. Few Everton players holding back at the edge of the area. Nias drags it past one man, rolls it in front of goal, and it misses everybody. Absolutely everybody. Drifts out to the right-hand side of the penalty area and picked up by Sandro Ramirez. Clips an early ball into the near post, and that's well claimed at his near post by Lewis Price. But Nias sold everyone a dummy, including his teammates, when he put the crossover.
Yeah, but he can only put it in there. It's a great bit of play by Nias. He comes along the byline and just rolls it across the 6-yard box, and it's not going to put itself in the back of the net. People have got to get on the end of it.
Lewis Price again thumps the ball high into the Goodison Park sky. Flicked on by Jamie Proctor, but he was fouling Kurt Zuma whilst he was doing that, and that'd be a free kick to Everton. There's a goal at the Den in the Carabao Cup. Millwall 0, Plymouth 1. Jamie Ness puts the Pilgrims in front at the Den. And Millwall, of course, lost to Rotherham at the weekend in the Championship. Find themselves behind at home in the Carabao Cup to the side from League One. Zuma's okay, back on his feet, won't need any treatment. And we tick round towards 44 minutes on TalkSport 2. Everton have a 1-goal lead, but it is only a 1-goal lead, so Marco Silva might want a few words to say to his players at half-time, Neil Redfern.
Yeah, they should be further in front, to be honest with you. And if they'd have been a little bit more decisive and a little bit more clinical, they would be. But they played quite well. They played quite well, Everton. They'd be pleased with the way that they played.
John Joe Kenny plays the ball into the feet of Calvert-Lewin. He was surely clipped by Sean Raggett. He was out on this near side. Free kick taken quickly by Calvert-Lewin. He was looking for Sigurdsson. Nias picks it up. Lovely ball out to the left-hand corner of the box where Digne's running onto it. Tries to hit the crossing, but it's deflected up and out off Viner for an Everton corner towards the end of the first half of the Park End. 1-0.
Been impressed with both full-backs for Everton. Young Kenny and Dian. They've played ever so well. They've got forward, they've got good quality, they've got the ball into the front, they've overlapped when they can. And they're a real source of threat for Everton.
Once again, Digne and Sigurdsson are there in case a short corner routine is called for, but Digne's been sent away by Sigurdsson, who's now going to send this corner in right-footed, and in swinger from the Icelandic. Up goes Zuma at the near post, but Raggett did just enough to get it cleared. It's going to drift out on the far side of the field for a throw-in. We're into a minimum of 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half on TalkSport 2. Everton trying to keep the pressure on as they attack the Park End in this first half. Cleared away though by Rotherham. David Ball will give chase, but that's gone way beyond him, and Zuma can tidy up for the home side and finds his captain Tom Davis. Davis in the centre circle, plays a lovely ball out to this near side, and John Joe Kenny. Ramirez gives John Joe Kenny the ball back with a 1-2. Ball into the area for Nias on the volley. Acrobatic effort, just couldn't get his foot over the ball and drive it well over the bar for a goal kick to Rotherham.
Brilliant again by Kenny. A good little interplay with Sandro, a little give and go, and he whips that ball in, and he just can't get his body over it, to be fair, Nias. But it's been comfortable for Everton, I have to say. They've huffed and puffed a little bit, Rotherham, but they lack the real quality to be in this game.
Goal kick for Price to send downfield. We've played a minute of the minimum 2 to be added on TalkSport 2 at the end of this first half. Everton with the lead and pushing forward again with Kieran Dowell. He's drifted away from Palmer, getting towards the edge of the area, clips it right for Sandro inside the box, back to the edge of the area looking for Sigurdsson, who fouled Palmer as he got back to tidy things up for Rotherham United, and he needed to do that because otherwise Sigurdsson could have been in on goal.
Yeah, it's good play again, but they've defended stoutly, Rotherham. You can give them that. You know, they've tracked and got the bodies in the way, and while it's only 1-0, they're still in it. But you can't help feeling that if this Everton side just moved up the gears a little bit, they will blow them away.
Price will then have the free kick for Rotherham. This may well be the last action of the first half. Looks for Proctor downfield. He can bring the ball down under pressure from Davis. Moving out towards this near touch line. Rolls the ball back to the halfway line. Clark Robertson sends it forward, and Graham Scott brings the first half to an end. Everton have the advantage, given to them just before the half hour by Gylfi Sigurdsson. There was lovely work down the right-hand side between Sandro Ramirez and John Joe Kenny. And Gylfi Sigurdsson slid in for his first goal of the season and his first goal since February. But Rotherham from the Championship have given a decent account of themselves at times in this first half, and they had a terrific chance to equalise when Joe Newell squared a ball across the area, and Sean Raggett up from the back was clear in front of goal 6 yards out, but fluffed his lines and the ball went way over the bar at the Gladys Street end. But it is only a single goal that Everton lead by at the break. So half-time at Goodison Park, Dan Windle. It is Everton 1, Rotherham United 0.
Ian Dancer, thank you. Gylfi Sigurdsson's goal separating the sides until more. Neil Redfern. It is game on. Everton improving as that first half went on for me at Goodison Park in the second round of the Carabao Cup tonight. Taking more risks, being braver in possession, those expansive attacking players further up the pitch.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that has been the difference. But Rotherham have sort of let Everton settle into the stride. They've opened right up, they've made the pitch big, they've got really expansive play going forward, and they're just starting to pick holes in this Rotherham side. And I think that they had a great start, Rotherham. They got right up against Everton, they forced 1 or 2 errors, the tempo was high. But I think from Rotherham's point of view now is that, you know, they're going to have to hang on in there and try and keep it to 1-0 as long as they can.
I had your assessment on your former club now. They've been a bit too polite, Paul Warren's side. Do they need to get in their face a little quicker, a little more vociferous maybe in the challenge?
Yeah, I thought they started great. I mean, it was a great start. First 10 minutes, they were right up against Rotherham, Everton, and any second ball they were competing with, they were picking things up, they were breaking through. They created a couple of half chances, but didn't really look convincing that they were going to get anything. And then obviously they let Everton settle into the stride, and for the last half an hour, it's been all Everton.
Sandro Ramirez, we weren't sure where he would operate, the forward that has been linked with the exit door at Goodison Park, an opportunity to impress, has taken that chance down the right-hand side, big involvement in the Sigurdsson's goal, and he's looked a real threat, hasn't he?
I think his combination play with young Kenny at right back has been exceptional. The little give and goes around the box, they've got good understanding. He's obviously not a natural wide player, Sandro, but what he does is he occupies that wing position, and then as Everton start to build play up, he comes off the line and he comes into little pockets of space in and around the box, and he's dangerous. He's got good quality, and obviously his link-up play led to the goal.
Kenny, good work down the right-hand side. Ramirez, excellent. Finished by Sigurdsson. Have they created enough, though, Everton? You've mentioned their dominance of possession and territory. Could they penetrate more? Could they be causing more issues to Rotherham than they are already?
I think they've got some great quality across the box. There's a couple of that's flashed right across the 6-yard box, and I think there's got to be more conviction to get on the end of it. I think that we saw the goal where Sigurdsson tracks the back stick, and I know I waxed lyrical about being the Paul Moore position, the old Charlie Hughes Paul Moore position, trapping the back stick, but they've got to do more of that. That's where the goal came from. Sigurdsson's alive and alert. It's a great ball across the box from Sandro, and he's there, Johnny, on the spot to put it in the back of the net, and I think that little bit more commitment in and around the box by getting bodies in there, and I think they'll get more goals out of this Everton.
A sense that Rotherham could improve the Championship side in the second half, but still they've asked questions, and Raggett's chance is an excellent one, isn't it? I like him as a defender. He's aggressive, he's no nonsense, but in front of goal, I should have done better.
Well, it's a chance for a striker, to be honest with you, and it needed to fall to anybody but a defender, because it's a good chance, and I described it as a sitter, and really in the circumstances of the game it is a sitter. He's right across the 6-yard box, there's nobody in front of him, he's just got to get a good contact, and that goes in the back of the net. But obviously from a defender's point of view it's a bit different. It's a false position for him, he's not used to getting in them positions, and obviously the chance goes missing.
It's interesting because they've offered a threat from set pieces. Would you describe Everton at times a little bit suspect offensively? I know Jamie Proctor's been a handful. He's leaning into Zuba. He's leaning into Holgate. He's been very difficult to deal with, isn't he?
Yeah, he has. I think he's played well, Proctor. He's led the line quite well, and he's pushed and shoved and got his body in, and he's used his strength and his held play up well, and link play. He lacks a little bit of quality in and around the box, perhaps. But when Rotherham do get set plays, they do look a physically stronger or bigger side than Everton. There's only really Zuma that's got the height and power to deal with the ball that's coming in the box. And I don't think Stecklenburg's helped his back four as well. He's stayed on his line 2 or 3 times when he could have helped his back four out. And they have rolled the luck a couple of times, Everton, with a couple of decent balls that's come in, particularly from Newell and also Ford.
It was an 8 o'clock start between Reading and Watford. Now Reading 0, Watford 1. Isaac's success scoring the goal. Dan, can I just ask you, Mason Holgate, the centre half, looked like he was struggling back end of that first period, which will concern Marco Silva because, of course, they lost Michael Keane at the weekend, a significant serious injury suffered at the Vitality. You don't want to go and lose your other centre half as we've signed the Premier League games as well.
Well, that's true, but then Phil Jagielka is available at the weekend when he completes his ban for the red card at Wolverhampton Wanderers. He just looked like he was feeling his hamstring after a run down the right-hand side when he was trying to keep up with Jamie Proctor. We'll just have to see whether he emerges at the start of the second half. It wasn't like he went to ground or anything. He just had that slightly awkward movement where he's moving his right leg up and down and just feeling for whether there's a bit of a twinge there. So we'll see whether he emerges at the start of the second half. But yeah, if he's not around, then Jagielka's going to have to come in and play, presumably alongside Zuma against Huddersfield on Saturday.
Ian Danter, Neil Redfern, I couldn't see him in place. We'll be back with a pair of them for second half commentary. Everton leading by 1 goal to 0. Live here on TalkSport. Don't forget you can catch highlights of this game and all other EFL action on Quest. You can watch the highlights from this game in Carabao Cup on Quest tonight at 10:30. Available in HD on Freeview, Freesat, Sky and Virgin. You can also live stream and catch up on demand on the free Quest OD app.
TalkSport 2 Live. Forget the past. Get ready for a bright new future with BetBright, official bookmaker of TalkSport 2. It's time to harness the horse racing, be fanatical about the football, and believe in the boxing in the brightest way ever. Throughout the day, every day with BetBright, official bookmaker of TalkSport 2. New customers can deposit £20 and play with £40 because you'll get a £20 sportsbook bonus when you deposit £20. 5 times wagering to release bonus. Minimum odds 1.8. 18 plus BGamblerWare.org.
If we listen carefully, we can hear the unmistakable sound of an all-new Ford Focus and its B&O premium sound system. There it goes, like a freshly emerged butterfly. It's been completely transformed into something quite beautiful. It's now even sportier and packed full of the latest technology, including wireless charging, head-up display, pothole detecting suspension, Wi-Fi hotspot, and other driver assistance technologies. You can catch this amazing transformation for yourself at the all-new Focus Tech live event from the 7th to the 10th of September at your nearest participating Ford dealer. Some features are options at additional cost. Ford. Together we go further.
At Subway, we don't do tiny. Introducing the new Subway Signature Loaded Wraps. Irresistibly smoky Chipotle Southwest steak and cheese. Juicy rotisserie style chicken Caesar. And meaty turkey bacon and guacamole. Big wraps, big flavour. Bigger is better. Subway, make it what you want. T's and C's apply. See in store for details.
Brexit analysis, political statements, global debates. It's never been more important to know your Times. Stay well informed with a subscription to the Times and the Sunday Times. Read the stories that matter, in print or online from just £3 a week. Search Times Subscribe today. Terms and conditions apply. Available to new subscribers only.
Don't miss the gripping new series that everyone is talking about.
Of course I'm going to defend you, but here I'm going to tell you the truth.
Go behind the scenes of Manchester City's record-breaking season.
If you hate me, guys.
Experience football like never before.
We need to fight for everything every year.
All or nothing. Manchester City.
We are close. We are so close.
All episodes available now on Amazon Prime.
Carabao Carabao is an energy drink.
A caffeinated energy drink that comes in green apple flavour.
It was invented by a
A
man.
man called Ed.
Ed Carabao.
Ed Carabao is from Thailand.
Ed Carabao is really famous.
In Thailand.
Because he's a rock star.
And because he invented Carabao.
Carabao sponsors Chelsea.
An average Chelsea football match will be watched by 41,000 fans.
1.4 million fans nationwide.
And 8 million fans in Thailand.
Where it will be 3 o'clock.
In the morning.
Carabao, the bonkers drink.
For bonkers lives.
They're the sporting rivalries that grip a nation.
The crowd have just gone delirious.
Transcend pure competition.
Just phenomenal.
And define their sport for a generation.
Reunited from TalkSport is a series of interviews that brings together iconic sporting personalities for an exclusive and candid conversation. Reunited, the podcast.
Olympic superstars Seb Coe and Steve Cram line up once more to look back on a golden era for British athletics and the epic track battles that shaped their careers.
You'd have it written down that, the double Olympic champion was the one who got ahead of you, then I'm absolutely fine with that.
Well, I'm glad it was me too.
Yeah, so am I, yeah.
Reunited, Coe versus Cram.
Download the podcast now.
Online and on DAB Digital Radio. TalkSport 2 Live.
So let's bring you some half-time classified scores. 4 Carabao Cup second round matches this Wednesday evening. Of course, live here on TalkSport 2, half-time at Goodison Park. Everton 1, Rotherham 0. That Gylfi Sigurdsson goal separating the sides. Over on TalkSport at the City Ground, Nottingham Forest 1, Newcastle 0. Another half-time. Currently going against the league standings. Millwall 0, Plymouth Argyle 1. And then an 8 o'clock start at the Medeski Stadium. Reading 0, Watford 1. 3 Champions League qualifying playoff second leg matches tonight as well. Red Bull Salzburg 0, Red Star 0. On aggregate, that's 0-0 as well, still in the first half there. PAOK against Benfica, 3-2 on aggregate. It's 2-1 to the Portuguese side on the night. And PSV Eindhoven now a couple of goals up against Bata Borisov. That's 5-2 on aggregate. So of course over on TalkSport, that's single goal to 0 separating Nottingham Forest and Newcastle at the City Ground. Here's how it sounded. Sam Matterface.
Ball is down the right, crossed into the centre. It's an early goal and Murphy scored. Excellent cross from Byram down the right-hand side. He got to the byline, beat the defender, produced a pinpoint cross, and Daryl Murphy stole in front of Darlow to make it Nottingham Forest 1, Newcastle 0.
It was a perfect start for the home team, an absolute nightmare for Rafa Benitez, but what a goal. And it's all about the delivery. Sam Byron, the right back, gets into an advanced position. He's got acres of space, he's got time to deliver a cross, and he delivers it to perfection. Daryl Murphy on the run, gets across his man and powers the header past Darlow. Great start to the game for Forest.
He's having a stinking week, Rafa Benitez. Does that change at the City Ground? Sam Matterface and Matt Holland calling the action over on TalkSport. Here on TalkSport 2, well, Everton have so far looked hugely superior to their opponents tonight.
One back by Everton. Strong work on the right-hand side. Sandro Ramirez clipping the ball in. Misses out. Calvert-Lewin. Sigurdsson gets the shot in. It's saved by Price, and he just pounces on the loose ball before Calvert-Lewin slides it into the 6-yard box. Kieran Dow down by the byline. Rolls it back to Ramirez inside the area. The angle's tight to the right-hand side. Flies it across the face of goal, and Sigurdsson touches it home from 6 yards out, and Everton hit the front just prior to the half hour through Gylfi Sigurdsson. Sigurdsson again tries the shot. Sandro Ramirez blocks, and Sigurdsson on the follow-up hits it over the bar. Sandro whipped in a right-footed effort. Price couldn't hold on to it, but Sigurdsson couldn't apply the finish from close range. And then Ajayi makes a complete mess of the attempted clearance. Sigurdsson back for Davis. Good save, Lewis Price, right on his goal line. Davis with a low daisy cutter, and Price low down to his right kept it at 1-0 to Everton.
Yeah, don't forget for your essential roundup of the morning's top sporting stories. Sports Day back tomorrow morning from 7 a.m. Russ Hargreaves and Hannah Wilkes looking back on all of tonight's Carabao Cup action, looking ahead to England's 4th test with India at the Aegeus Bowl, which gets underway tomorrow as well. They'll be looking back on this action at Goodison Park. Neil Redfern and Ian Danter, our commentary team, in position on Merseyside. Neil, for Marco Silva, is he just saying to his players, keep it up, keep doing what you're doing, you've impressed me, keep moving the ball, we'll get 2 and 3, be patient?
Yeah, I think he's got to be pleased with the general play. I think their approach play has been out of top draw, and they've shown real quality. A little bit more devil, perhaps. he'd probably be saying, look, we need to put this team to bed. It's good practice. Don't feel sorry for them. If you're that much on top, go and really put them to bed.
Rotherham can improve, as we've already said, but they're still in this game. They've got to get people a little closer to Jamie Proctor. They've got to look to try and get some more balls in the box for Stecklenburg to deal with, for Zuma to deal with, for Holgate to deal with.
Well, they started brilliant. They started the first 10 minutes. They were nigh up against Everton. They put them under pressure. They contested every second ball, and they wobbled a little bit, Everton. So for me, that's the proof of the pudding. That's what they've got to do. They've got to take the fight to Everton. Look, it's a cup game. They may as well go out 4-0 than get beat 1-0 and lay down. They may as well have a right go at this Everton side.
You feel they can try and get into the face of Everton, influence their play a little more than they have been, Neil. That's what you feel in that midfield battle. Put your foot in.
Yeah, I think they've sort of played some nice football at times. They've just lacked that final ball in the final third. But it's sort of safe, it's nice, and it's not what is going to get them back in this game against Everton. They need to ruffle a few Everton feathers, and they need to know that they're in a cup tie. I think they can pose a real threat from set plays, so I think it's something that's got to be a feature of this second half as well.
Penalties if needed. Separate these sides after 90 minutes. Everton holding the trump card at this moment in time. What kind of cup tie will this second half bring? At Goodison Park, live here on Talk Sport 2. You're commenting Neil Redfern, the former Leeds and Rotherham boss, alongside our match commentator Ian Dant.
And Rotherham had decided, Dan, to make a change at the start of this second half. Young Ben Wiles, just 19, who played the first half in central midfield, has been taken off, and that allows Will Volks to come on, who's a regular midfielder. Tranmere youth, who signed a couple of years ago, scored in his debut against Wolves. Spent a lot of time at Falkirk with Will Volks, and he's on in central midfield as Rotherham bolster their options at the start of this second period. Everton get us underway on TalkSport 2 in their blue shirts, white shorts and socks, kicking toward the Gladys Street end away to our left in this second half as we look from our commentary position in the Goodison Road stand. Rotherham in their change strip of yellow shirts with light blue sleeves, light blue shorts and socks, and Everton have Stecklenburg in goal, Kenny, Holgate, Zuma and Digne across the back, Sigurdsson, Davis, Dowland, Sandro in midfield, Calvert-Lewin and Nias up front, and the Rotherham lineup now reads Price in goal, Viner, Ajayi, Raggett and Robertson across the back, and then Ford, Palmer, Volks and Newell in midfield, Ball and Proctor up front. Lucas Digne sends a strong throw into the Rotherham half, but Raggett, who had Rotherham's best chance of the first half, can get that back to his goalkeeper Price. It's flicked on towards the halfway line by Will Volks, getting involved early on since his introduction, but it will break for Kurt Zuma. What have you made of his performance?
Yeah, I think
his first start on loan from Chelsea.
I think he's looked accomplished. He's very athletic. I mean, 2 instances where he ran and climbed athletically from set plays, and unlucky where he just flashed headers wide. But he's a real presence in the box. He's a physical presence, and at any level you need that.
John Joe Kenny and Calvert-Lewin exchanging passes. Now the ball goes back to Kieran Dowell, who starts to drive down the inside right channel. Still going Kieran Dowell into the area. Leaves it out on the right-hand side for Kenny to swing a ball in. Nias tries to head it back towards goal. It drops for Digne at the edge of the area. Trying to get over the top of it and fire it goalwards, but got a bit underneath it, and it goes into the Gladys Street end for a goal kick to Rotherham. 1-0 Everton.
Yeah, it's good play by Everton. It's a good ball to the far post. Just a little bit underneath it there, Nias at the back stick. He's having to backpedal to try and get something on it. And it's Diane who comes in, and to be fair, he's got to try and keep that down. He can't get his body over it or get round it, and it flashes over the bar. But it's Everton again that's looking the most dangerous of the two sides.
Neil Redfern alongside me, Ian Danter in the commentary box. It's 1-0 in all 4 Carabao Cup ties. 2 to the home side, 2 to the away side. Everton and Forest lead. Plymouth and Watford are ahead away from home in their ties at Millwall and Reading respectively. Here's Umar Nias for Everton, trying to play Calvert-Lewin in on the right hand side, hugging the touchline, tries to get the better of Clark Robertson and fouls him in trying to get past him, and Rotherham will have a free kick in their left back position. Paul Warne just having another chat with medical staff. I mean, Holgate's back out there, as we mentioned at half time, whether that little twinge he felt in his hamstring might affect him, but Paul Warne's having a deep conversation with his coaching staff, maybe about making further changes and further upping the ante to try and get Rotherham back into this game. They're only a goal down, don't forget, to the Premier League side Everton, who've never won the League Cup. Marco Silva's never won a League Cup tie. At Watford, he lost his only previous second-round tie. That was against Bristol City, who had quite a run in last season's competition. So he wasn't the only one to suffer at the hands of Lee Johnson and Bristol City. Here's Mason Holgate. Good pace into the Rotherham half. Feeds it down the right-hand side for John Joe Kelly, but his early cross is cleared away by Clark Robertson. Davy Board tries to help the ball onto halfway. Muscled out of it by Kieran Dowell, and Zuma and Holgate now exchange passes just inside their own half. Picked up by Davis, plays an early ball down the right-hand side, but Calvert-Lewin, who I think was the intended target, suddenly come towards the ball, and it just sailed over his head, and Lewis Price can claim. 1-0 Everton.
You see both Zuma and Holgate are both comfortable on the ball. Both full-backs were having comfortable on the ball. And close enough pressure by Rotherham to force the area of the ball from back to front, then they're always going to have comfortable possession, and that seems to have been the case again in the second half.
Nias tried to win the ball off Raggett, but clearly shoved him in the back midway point of the Rotherham half, as Everton just, for once in this game, just hoofed the ball forward rather than trying to play it through the thirds. And Rotherham have themselves a free kick as we approach 50 minutes gone here on TalkSport 2 at Goodison Park. Everton 1, Rotherham 0. Just hear the Rotherham fans on the far side of the field from us giving their Miller's team a little bit of encouragement. Free kick is picked up by Sean Raggett for Rotherham, just inside the Everton half, but runs into Tom Davis. He's got it back though, Raggett. Clips it down the left-hand side. That's half-headed cleared by Holgate. Davis helps it up to Nias, who brings it down out the sky beautifully and finds Calvert-Lewin just inside the Rotherham half. Sigurdsson takes his time and rolls the ball out to this near side, and Lucas Digne back for Kieran Dowell. And he plays a lovely ball diagonally out to Sandro Ramirez on the right-hand side. Takes a touch, whips an early ball in. Calvert-Lewin went into the near post with a flying header, but just couldn't connect. And Price held on to it. 1-0 Everton.
I'll tell you what, young Kenny's been the best player on the pitch. He's great overlapping from full-back. It's a fantastic ball in again. And to be fair to Calvert-Lewin, he's unlucky because he throws himself in brave and he just doesn't manage to connect with that ball. But I think if this goes 2-0, I think it could be quite a few.
Ford tries to win a header for Rotherham. It's picked up right-hand side by Will Volks, the substitute. Holds it up at the right-hand corner of the penalty area. First time ball into the box from Viner. It's cleared away by Holgate. Dowell helps it down for Nias, who can turn and go into the Rotherham half. Across comes Viner from right back and steps in and does well to win the ball back for the Millers. Now it's Volks inside his own half now, looking for an option. Ball starts to make a run and taking Zuma with him, but Volks has elected to go back to Viner, his right back, who in turn feeds it back to Price, the goalkeeper. His clearance is not the best. It's going to land at the feet of Umar Nias, midway point of the Rotherham half. But credit Anthony Ford, saw the danger, smelt the danger, and won it back quickly for Rotherham. Now ball over the top for Jamie Proctor. Is he in behind Kurt Zuma? He's trying to get in behind Zuma, but tell you what, he's showing great strength for Chelsea, Loney. It looked like Proctor was favourite as that ball was hit over the top, but Zuma, Neil Redfern, was having none of it.
No, fantastic athleticism. Gets himself back, that's the first thing, and then he manages to shield the ball and play a simple pass out to get Everton out of trouble. But good play from the big man.
Yellow card for Lucas Digne though, for a challenge on Anthony Ford down this near side, the Rotherham right on the touchline, level with the edge of the penalty area. Rotherham have a free kick, and given the quality that they put in during the course of this game from both Ford and Newell, who are standing over this ball, Everton will need to keep their wits about them.
See, this is a great opportunity for Rotherham. This is where they've got to try and take advantage, because like I said, they're not the biggest side, Everton, and they've got some big lads up there, Rotherham, but they've got to go and get on the end of it. They put great ball in so far, but they've got to go and attack it.
So Joe Newell will take a left-footed in-swinger for Rotherham United. It's deep to the far post. Stecklenburg goes up and claims comfortably.
Yeah, first bad one. Put the kiss of death on it, didn't we?
We did a little. Stecklenburg fires it downfield looking for Sandro. It will come for Sandro Ramirez eventually on the halfway line. Davis works the ball back infield for Mason Holgate, who can scamper over the halfway line, feed it right to John Joe Kenny. Kenny faced up by Robertson. Thinks about going beyond him, but then passes backwards 5 yards or so for Kieran Dowell. Works it in field for Tom Davis, who lays it off in turn for Holgate. Gives it back to Davis. Davis just can't get away from Matt Palmer for the moment, and so Sigurdsson, lovely first touch to get away from Volks, tried to slide in John Joe Kenny down the right hand side of the area. Good defending in the end by Newell to get it half clear, but Dowell has it again for Everton, who are pushing forward down the left now with Digne. Clips the ball into the box way over the head of Calvert-Lewin, and Robertson will be able to collect the ball far side of the field before it goes out of play for a throw. In fact, he just leaves it to go out for that throw in. And we've played 53 minutes of this Carabao Cup tie at Goodison Park. It's Everton 1, Rotherham United 0. Neil Redford.
Yeah, I tell you what, Dan, I do like Sigurdsson, you know. Everything he does is just that little bit better quality than everything else on the pitch. It's just his touch and his awareness and just his feel for the game. And been a really top performer in this play so far for Everton.
Rotherham trying to come forward with Viner from right back, getting towards the halfway line, looking for his captain David Bull down the right hand side, but again Zuma comes across into that left hand side of the Everton defence to tidy things up, put himself between David Bull and the ball and get it back to his keeper, and Everton will try again. Mason Holgate up towards the halfway line, just nicks it over the halfway line for Umar Niasse, and that's a wasteful pass from Niasse.
He's been poor, Niasse. He started off really poorly second half. Just looked at his manager there shaking his head. Needs to do a little bit more if he wants to stay on the pitch.
Everton 1, Rotherham 0 on TalkSport 2. Nearly 10 minutes gone in this second period. Here is Ajayi playing a good ball over the halfway line on the deck for Anthony Ford to make tracks. Infield, Kieran Dow sticks to him, gets it back to Tom Davies, who has to guide the ball back to Stecklenburg, who under pressure from Ball can only half clear, and it's headed out of play by Zach Viner for an Everton throw level with the edge of their own penalty area. They've made it to round 3 in each of the last 10 seasons of Everton since Crystal Palace beat them in September 2001. And at the moment, they're going to make it each of the last 11 years they've been in round 2, going for round 3. Won themselves a free kick on halfway for a bit of handball by Zach Viner. Free kick taken quickly by Digne. Stroked infield by Zuma for Holgate, who just looked a little concerned at first when the ball was coming towards him, as though Proctor might get there first, but Holgate was comfortably in front of the Rotherham striker. But the ball's back with Lewis Price in the Rotherham United goal, clear from hands downfield. It's a better clearance from Price this time. Proctor looking to muscle Zuma out the way, and he's got the better of him. Inside to Ball at the edge of the area, but just couldn't control it. Zuma stayed down after that clash with Proctor, and he's holding his face. And we play on as Everton come forward with Kieran Dowell. Dowell's got John Joe Kenny on the overlap, sprinting hard towards his right. Kenny tries to blast it across the face of goal, but blasts it in to Clark Robertson, who'll clear up towards the halfway line. And Zuma's stayed down, and he still wants treatment. Now, was that too heavy-handed from Jamie Proctor as that move built up, Neil Redford?
It looked a little bit, yeah. I'm not sure he led with his elbow, but he definitely got right in Zuma's face. And the big man stayed down. I don't think he's the type of player to stay down easily, but to be fair, Proctor will argue with the fact that it was a strong, hard, fair challenge, but he's definitely felt the effects of that, Zuma.
Well, he's just having an animated conversation, is Jamie Proctor, with Mason Holgate, who's defending the honour of his centre-half teammate. I don't think there's going to be any retrospective action from referee Graham Scott. Or Jamie Proctor. Of course, there's VAR here, we shouldn't forget.
Just look at the Everton bench here. I think that's what they're asking for, and the fourth official saying no. But
well, the VAR is in evidence. It can be used. It was used last night once at Leicester against Fleetwood for a potential red card, which was ruled out by the VAR official there. It's Kevin Friend who's looking after VAR tonight back at Stockley Park, and that decision has not been referred at all. So we play on with a drop ball, a notional drop ball inside the Rotherham half of the field, and I think Graham Scott's going to tell Raggett or Robertson just to give it back to Everton, although there's a bit of a conflab about how heavily contested this drop ball is going to be. Everton 1, Rotherham 0. TalkSport 2 with Screwfix, proud sponsors of the EFL, here when you need us. And the drop ball is actually going to be given to Gylfi Sigurdsson to knock back to the Rotherham keeper Lewis Price. Didn't hear what the Everton fans think about that.
Yeah, well, they're actually in the ascendancy there, Everton, but it was an Everton player that were down. Sprinting back on now, Zuma, so no side effects.
And we're back underway with Lewis Price hitting a long ball downfield again. Ball can't win it. Palmer loses that to Sigurdsson, who turns away beautifully on the halfway line, but then it's Niasse again who's run into trouble, not having a very good game at the moment. Umar Niasse has the ball again, lays it off this time for Sigurdsson, the calmest of back heels, and now Calvert-Lewin turns away from Volks, running down the right hand side for Everton, plays the ball back in field for Kieran Dowell. Dowell gets his head up, tries a drive from fully 40 yards out, bounced once in front of Lewis Price and was a very comfortable save for the Rotherham goalkeeper. 1-0 Everton.
Yeah, the thing that's missing from the first half, Everton, is the movement of the strikers. It's a little bit static now when they're picking the ball up in midfield and at the back. Everton, you know, where they had good movement from out to in from Sandro and obviously Niasse on this side. It's a little bit more static and it's playing into Rotherham's hands a little bit.
Kyle Vassell's going to be on very shortly for the Millers. Remains to be seen who fought. Again, a heavy touch from Niasse allows Volks to get a piece of it. Sandro keeps it in play well on this near side of the left and nutmegs Viner. Now here's Digne cutting the ball in field for Kieran Dowell. Early ball up to Niasse at the edge of the area. He's trying to turn it around the corner for Ramirez, but it just didn't come off for him. Nothing's coming off for him this half, Niasse. Here's Holgate for Everton though, as the Toffees picking up again on the halfway line. Holgate making good tracks towards the right hand side. He's clipped by Will Volks as he gets to around about 25 yards out, and Everton have themselves a free kick out towards the right hand side of the penalty area.
Yeah, dangerous position. Looks like Sigurdsson's going to be over the ball and take control of the situation.
And Lewis Price better watch his near post in case Sigurdsson tries to go for the old postage stamp top right hand corner as we look at the Gladys Street end. Here's the substitution for Rotherham, and it's David Ball, the skipper, who's being withdrawn. Not sure who's given the captain's armband to, but he's coming off anyway. And on to replace him comes Kyle Vassell, joined in July after a couple of good years at Blackpool, where he scored 24 goals in his 2 seasons. He's played for 9 non-league and 6 league clubs in his career as Kyle Vassell. One of the more recent arrivals at the New York Stadium, and he's on as part of the wall that's been formed for this free kick that's coming up. Digne and Sigurdsson are standing over it. Could be Digne with a left footer over the wall. It's to the right hand side. Price waits just in front of his goal line. Zuma and Calvert-Lewin in Holgate to pick up the pieces if there's a deflection. In it comes from Sigurdsson. Poor free kick straight into the wall, but it's picked up by Digne. Clips to the far post. Calvert-Lewin makes it 2-0 to Everton. A simple header from close range right in front of Price. Headed it down and underneath the goalkeeper, and there's clear blue water for the blue half of Merseyside in this Carabao Cup tie. Calvert-Lewin makes it Everton 2, Rotherham United 0.
Well, there's 2 things here you've got to ask questions about: the urgency to block the cross as it deflects off the wall. It's too easy for Everton to get back on it and recycle the ball into the box, and then the defending at the back stick is non-existent really, and it's definitely going to be an uphill battle now for Rotherham going forward.
First goal of the season for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He got 4 in the Premier League last season, and he'll be delighted with that to get his season off and running. And he's worked hard in this opening hour or so for Everton as they now have themselves a 2-goal lead on TalkSport 2. Rotherham get us back underway. Kicking towards the park end in this second half, Rotherham. Vassell trying to get involved straight away and forces Holgate to put the ball out for a throw. And now Rotherham really do have to go for it. Theo Walcott's warming up in front of us. Of course, he may well get a run at Theo, even though he's played at the Premier League level, because he's barely had a kick in pre-season through injury. So any extra minutes he can get under his belt will be, I presume, more than welcome for him and for Marco Silva.
I think what maybe Marco Silva's looking at maybe as well is that it's a good time for him to come on. You know, no disrespect to Rotherham, but it's so comfortable for Everton this. You know, it'd be a good time for Walcott to get some minutes, and because they played well, Everton. You can see him getting on the ball quite a bit and causing trouble, like we know he's capable of.
He's not the slowest, is he, Walcott?
Well, you wouldn't want to chase him if he nicked your wallet, put it that way.
if he nicks your wallet. Free kick to Rotherham meantime. 63 minutes gone. Theo Walcott is a law-abiding citizen. Let's have it right.
You've got to say that. You've got to say that.
Yeah. Newell's free kick into the area for Rotherham. Raggett goes up with a header, gets a header on it, but he loops over the crossbar for an Everton goal kick. And Raggett has to trot back into his centre-half position. That's as close as Rotherham have come in this second half. But again, it was a good delivery from Newell out on that left-hand side.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think they've just got to make more of that, and they've got to have a little bit more belief when they're going into attack things. It's a great ball. It's right across the 6-yard box. Big centre half. Raggett is coming onto it, but heads it way over the bar.
Everton 2, Rotherham 0 on TalkSport 2. 63 minutes gone. Good touch from Jamie Proctor. Now Carvacelli's offside. Tried to get in behind John Joe Kenny. He was fed by Joe Newell, but you could see from our commentary position behind the play that he was offside, and the assistant on this near side spotted it too. Free kick Everton.
I'll tell you what, young Kenny, brilliant though, because he didn't give that up. Whether that were offside or onside, he's still covering round and getting back in, and he's putting Russell under pressure. But I think the young kid at right back's been outstanding tonight.
Well, he's had a good start to his career, John Joe Kenny. Everton youth, of course. Had loans to Wigan and Oxford the last couple of years. 14 Premier League appearances last year as well for John Joe Kenny. Something of a breakthrough season for him, because Seamus Coleman was out for a long period of last season after that double leg fracture. Now, right-hand side, Sandro Ramirez for Everton, playing the ball into the box, looking for Nias, but back comes Volks to put the ball out of play. Champions League goal to tell you about. Red Bull Salzburg 2, the Red Star Belgrade 0, so that's 2-0 on aggregate as well to Red Bull Salzburg. Throw into John Joe Kenny, who Neil Redfern's been very impressed with in this Carabao Cup tie. Throws the ball into Calvert-Lewin, who got Everton second. John Joe Kenny rolls it back to Sandro. Into the right-hand corner of the penalty area where Kieran Dowell holds it up. Flicks it down the right for Kenny. Keeps it in play. Clips the ball in. But Anthony Ford makes a bit of a mess of the clearance, and it's picked up by Sigurdsson, running away from the penalty area, though, to retrieve it properly for Everton. Now here's Mason Holgate. Right-hand side, tried to clip the ball into the box, but it's blocked by Volks. Only as far as Sandro. Good ball in. Nias with a diving header. A proper 50-pence header from Umar Nias. Right over the crossbar. Should have worked the goalkeeper, but it stays 2-0 to Everton.
I'll tell you what, that's harder to miss. It's harder to miss. You know, anything that's on target is in, because he's right in front of goal. He actually times his run superbly well, Nias, but just at this moment in time, nothing seems to be going right for him.
Well, Gylfi Sigurdsson has played for 65 minutes, and you can hear what the locals think about his contribution. Scored the first, his first of the season, and his first since February, and it is Theo Walcott who comes on to replace him. And Walcott will be a real threat with his pace to try and get in behind these Rotherham players, who presumably are going to be pushing a bit further down the field, trying to get themselves back into this cup tie.
Well, they've got to chase it a little bit, but they seem to have shown no appetite so far. But Sigurdsson's a class performer. Great performance by him tonight.
Foul on Isaac Vassell by Kurt Zouma. So Rotherham have a free kick inside the Everton half by the centre circle. It's going to be taken by Anthony Ford, by the looks of it, although Joe Newell's also showing some interest in taking the free kick, but it will be Ford who's decided it's his responsibility to float the ball in. It's going to be a fairly straight ball perhaps into the area. Everton holding their line level with the edge of the D. Everyone's strung out in a line to either corner of the penalty box. Ford hits it out towards the left-hand side of the box, headed up in the air by Holgate, did really well. Sandro picks the ball up in the right-back position for Everton. Plays the ball back in field for Holgate, who's showing for him, and will now clear the ball downfield. Good ball for Calvert-Lewin, chest it down, tight to the touchline on the halfway line, and wins a throw, does he? He does indeed. On the halfway line, and a goal in the Carabao Cup at the Den. Millwall 1, Plymouth 1. Sean Williams pops up from the penalty spot to equalise for the Lions. One apiece then at the Den. 2-0 here to Everton on TalkSport 2 at Goodison Park. Rotherham trying to get themselves back into this. Oh, another goal in the Champions League as well. And PAOK 1, Benfica 4. Salvio's got a second of the night, and the Portuguese are most definitely going through to the group stages. Everton definitely going through to round 3 of the Carabao Cup at the moment. as Lewis Price fires the ball downfield, looks for Proctor to try and get a flick on. Vassell, who's tall and rangy like Proctor, tries to help him out, wins it off Kurt Zuma, but then Holgate's there to help win possession back for the Toffees. Kenny out to the far side of the field from us, and Sandro, lovely ball in field for Tom Davis, and he hits a diagonal ball for Theo Walcott, just guided down by Walker, tried to cushion it into the path of Digne, who was underlapping him, but it was watched all the way by the right back Viner. Goal at the Den in the Carabao Cup, Millwall 1, Plymouth 2, and Freddie Laperty has got Plymouth back in front within seconds of Sean Williams equalising for Millwall from the penalty spot. So the Pilgrims back in front. Here's Theo Walcott charging in field from the left hand side, but runs into Ajayi. Good ball up to Vassell in the centre circle with his back to play, trying to be challenged by Mason Holgate. Threads the ball back to Clark Robertson, who was pushed over by Sandro Ramirez, and that'll be a free kick to Rotherham. Midway through the second half on TalkSport 2, it's Everton 2, Rotherham 0. Neil Redfern.
Yeah, you can't help but think that Everton can wait for Rotherham now. They've got themselves way in front, and deservedly so. They've been the better of the two sides. Just have that little bit more quality than Rotherham. Applied themselves, to be fair to them. But from Rotherham, I don't know, they may as well just commit some bodies forward and have a go. You know, it's a cup tie. See where they can get.
Price with the free kick down the left-hand side, looking for Joe Newell to win a header, but it's been headed out of play. It will be a Rotherham throw, bang on the halfway line. So 2 changes have already been made by Rotherham. They had to make a change even before kick-off due to an injury to Joe Mattock in the warm-up. Walcott's on for Sigurdsson. Cenk Tosun's doing some warm-up exercises in front of us. We might see the Turkish striker before too long for Everton. Walcott picks the ball up on halfway. Just over 20 minutes to play then on Matchday Live 2 on TalkSport 2. Here is John Joe Kenny, 10 yards inside the Rotherham half. Lovely ball out to the right hand side for Sandro Ramirez, and John Joe Kenny went for the return, but it was overhit by Sandro and just drift out of play for a Rotherham goal kick.
Yeah, too many bodies to get it through, but they've been a big feature of this Everton performance. Both Sandro and obviously Kenny, who's been outstanding at right back, they've linked in brilliant. You wouldn't think that this is the first time perhaps they've played together as a right back and as a right side midfielder. But
well, we were talking about this before kick-off, weren't we? The interpersonal relationships, how well players like Kenny and Sandro are going to link together and work together when they may have barely trained together in those positions. But as you say, they've dovetailed really nicely, those two.
They look like they've played there all the career. So
good strength, Isaac Vassell on the Carl Vassell on the left-hand side, and he's won a free kick for Rotherham. John Taylor's going to be on shortly for the Millers as their third change, and he's going to come on right now for Joe Newell's had a good game for Rotherham, good quality from that left-hand side, but John Taylor is getting an opportunity. Born in Liverpool, Wigan youth, went to Shrewsbury a decade ago, came for what was a then record fee to Rotherham a couple of years ago. 300 career appearances now for John Taylor. I'm not sure whether he's a red or a blue, but he was definitely born here. Slightly more diminutive figure out on that left-hand side than Joe Newell. Let's see what he can conjure up for Rotherham in these last, 18 and a half minutes plus added time. Rotherham are 2 goals down here to Everton and have a free kick inside the Everton half. It's going to be Anthony Ford to play it in right-footed into the box. Up goes Ajayi and gets a header on it, but not enough, and it just drifted behind for an Everton goal kick. Just couldn't apply the sort of finish he wanted, but it was a free header for Semi Ajayi.
Yeah, they've been a bit loose picking up Everton and all the set players, to be honest with you, and it's a good opportunity for Ajayi, and maybe that's the difference, you know, having the quality to steer that ball on target and make the keeper make a save, and they've not done that enough. But it's another great ball in from Ford.
Goal kick for Martin Stecklenburg, who had his injury problems last year as well. Stecklenburg had a groin injury and was out from late October onwards, but he's back as the deputy to Jordan Pickford. Everton trying to hook the ball clear from just inside their own half, and it's won back by Carl Vassell. Windsor throwing off Mason Holgate, and they will allow a change to be made for Everton. And Umar Niasse, who's had a difficult evening, I think it's fair to say. comes off and Cenk Tosun comes on to replace it.
Yeah, he showed glimpses in the first half of what he's capable of. He had 1 or 2 nice touches in around the box, but just looks a little bit casual to me, second half.
So Tosun is on. Got 5 goals last season, hadn't scored yet this campaign. And so he'll go straight up front alongside Dominic Calvert-Lewin for these last 17 minutes or so on TalkSport 2. Rotherham coming forward. Ball headed across the edge of the 18-yard line by Jamie Proctor. John Taylor tries to get a piece of it, but Davis wins it back for Everton. Kieran Dowell, just by the centre circle. Plays it left for Digne. Digne looks up, there's 2 players making a run. Tosun's one of them. Tries to flick it on for Calvert-Lewin, but it was watched all the way by Sean Raggett, who heads the ball down. Palmer, good ball through the centre circle. Here's John Taylor, first involvement in the game. Taylor's got options right and left. Taylor gets to the right-hand corner of the box and feeds it right for Anthony Ford. Ford's ball in, headed clear by Tom Davis, only as far as Will Vogts. Gets the ball at the edge of the D and drives it into the area. It comes off Tom Davis, and Everton will try and get the ball forward. Now Walcott will speed onto the ball on the halfway line. He's got Calvert-Lewin going through the centre, and on his outside is Tosun. Tosun picks the ball up right wing. Calvert-Lewin calling for the ball in the area. Sandro's there too. The ball from Tosun's half cleared as far as Kieran Dowell, who tees himself up for a volley with a couple of keepy uppies. And the volley's only about 2 or 3 yards over. Goal kick Rotherham. Everton lead 2-0.
Tell you what, great technique from Dowell though. He's going backwards as he takes that ball on his chest. A couple of little touches and then dips the volley just over the bar. But again, Everton looking really dangerous on the break. Got that pace in Walcott. Showed 1 or 2 nice touches since he's come on. Neil Redfern alongside me, Ian Dancer in the commentary box. Just over 15 minutes to go. Everton 2 goals to the good here against Rotherham United. But here's Carvacell trying to burst through the centre, but the 2 centre halves of Everton sort of in a pincer movement. Holgate and Zuma make sure he doesn't get anywhere near it and thump it downfield, and that bit of defensive work got a round of applause from the Goodison Park faithful. I'll tell you what, he's sort of been under the radar a little bit, Mason Holgate, in this game tonight, but he's been outstanding. You know, his decision making, his timing, when he drops back in and picks people up, held the line well, used the ball well, got out of dangerous situations. He's a good player.
Well, he had ankle surgery back in March, did Mason Holgate. Played as a centre-back against Southampton and kept his position since. Played there against Bournemouth, the game I saw last Saturday. Here's Tosun for Everton, pushing towards the edge of the area, right-hand side. Kenny on the overlap, early ball into the near post, headed clear by Robertson, tidied up by Taylor. Rotherham try and clear, but Everton win it back just as quickly through Kieran Dowell. Heads it towards the edge of the box, and this time it's put clear on the half volley by Clark Robertson. And then Holgate just, he's lost out to Carvacell. The ball's gone out of play for a throw-in. I thought for a moment on that far touchline that Holgate had been a bit casual. He still looks like he's not too sure of his hamstring out on that far side of the field, Mason Holgate. Everton do have 1 change left in reserve. Yeah. He's not moving too freely, Mason Holgate.
No, he's stretched off for the whole game, to be fair, apart from the first 10 minutes.
Throw into Everton. John Joe Kenny will take it. Less than 14 minutes to play on TalkSport 2 live. 2-0 they lead against Rotherham United. Kenny will volley the ball into the Rotherham half. Up goes Raggett, loses out to Tosun, but Walcott can't pick up on the loose ball because Ajayi guides it back, first time of asking, to his keeper Lewis Price. Price looks up, gets the ball to outside the area and will fire it downfield, looking for Carvacell. Good header from Holgate, but again he's just pulled up as he headed that ball clear. Marcus Silva's got to take a look at that because his centre-half doesn't look comfortable out there whatsoever. Meantime, Calvert-Lewin wins it back inside the Rotherham half, but then he's dispossessed almost immediately by Matty Palmer. And Rotherham have themselves a free kick. And Matthew Pennington's been asked to go and warm up by Marco Silva.
I think he's got to take him off.
I think he has to. Meantime, ball sent downfield. Jamie Proctor, good header out to the right-hand side under pressure from Zuma. Wants a free kick, Jamie Proctor not given away by Sandro. Matty Palmer plays the ball in field to John Taylor, picked up by Will Vogts for Rotherham. Palmer again, dispossessed by Sandro, he's done better that time. Clips the ball in field, plays a 1-2, but he's finds himself dispossessed this time by Ford. Now goes back to Raggett on halfway for Rotherham United, trying to find themselves a way back into this cup tie. 2,000 fans have travelled from South Yorkshire to watch their team. What sort of encouragement then they give them for the last 12 minutes or so. Ajay, good ball through to Vassell, who's onside in the area. Tangle gets the shot horribly wrong with his right foot. Timed the run to perfection to get in behind Holgate and Zuma. Picked the ball up right hand side of the box, but hit right across the ball, and it went well wide. Goal kick to Everton. Goal at Reading meantime in the Carabao Cup. Reading 0, Watford 2. Domingos Quina makes it 2-0 to the Hornets. And also a Champions League goal to tell you about in those second legs. PSV 3, Borisov 0. So Lozano makes it 3-0 and PSV are through to the knockout stages. What a chance for Carl Vassell there, Neil Redford.
But he didn't need to shoot. He's timed his run superbly well. He's completely clear. Just get hold of the ball in the box. It's dangerous, you know. He could have got right in and drawn the keeper, rolled it across, but lost his composure.
And so cleared downfield with the goal kick by Stecklenburg. Foul by Toshin on Raggett. Gives Rotherham a free kick. 11 minutes to play on TalkSport 2. Here at Goodison Park. Price wants to take the free kick. The goalkeeper's come out of his own penalty area, getting ready to strike it. And now he hits it down the inside right channel. Vassell will flick it on. Ford's trying to hair after it, but it goes out of play for an Everton goal kick. So the score here is Everton 2, Rotherham 0 on TalkSport 2 with Screwfix. For the latest offers, visit your local store or head to screwfix.com. Here when you need us. Live football from the EFL Friday night, Leeds and Borough, and then Norwich and Ipswich on Sunday lunchtime. And our Premier League offering on Saturday afternoon is West Ham United against Wolverhampton Wanderers, with John Motson and Perry Groves, your commentary team, at the London Stadium. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff, and Matchday Live 2 will commence at midday, as it always does on a Saturday afternoon, for all the build-up you could possibly need. Everton have a throw meantime on this near side. Well, you just heard the attendance read out there. 31,972. Credit to everyone who's come along tonight in this era when the Carabao Cup is seen as a competition that doesn't attract big crowds. Over 30,000 for Premier League against Championship.
Tremendous attendance.
Fantastic work.
Tremendous.
Ford plays the ball forward for Rotherham. Volks just steps in to fire it down the inside left channel. John Taylor's giving chase. Might get there ahead of John Joe Kenny. Good work from John Taylor. Kenny's trying to stick with him down by the corner flag and has won it back for Everton and puts the ball out for a Rotherham throw right in front of those Rotherham fans on the far side of the field.
Good battle that. Two little tenacious players going head to head.
And a roar from the Rotherham fans encouraging Rotherham to get a long throw into the penalty area. Raggett's at the near post. Proctor at the far post. In it comes, looking for Raggett to get the flick, and it does drop at the far post and just beyond it. It's gone out for a corner. It was an Everton head that flicked it on at the near post. Proctor was the closest to it, although he was never really that close to get an effort on goal. But it just went the wrong side of the post for a Rotherham corner.
I tell you what, John Aldridge would have had about 5 or 6 goals in this game. Anything that goes right across the 6 yard, it'd have been there just to tap it in. Maybe that's the difference there.
Indeed so. But Anthony Ford will have the resulting corner kick for Rotherham into the near post. Headed clear by the first defender. It was a poor delivery. Walcott clears downfield and it's picked up by Sandro Ramirez. They're going to try and counter here, Everton, but good defending by Will Volks. Helped out by Ajay. Ajay plays the ball down the right hand side of the area. Carl Vassell gives chase. He'll keep it in play as well. Helped out by Ford down this near side, but Vassell's holding onto it by the corner flag. Poked out of play by Kurt Zuma for a throw to Rotherham on this near side, 10 yards from the corner flag. And it's going to be a long throw from Will Volks this time. Rubs the ball on his shirt, gets to the byline, throws it in, flicked on by Jai to the far post and driven over the bar by Jamie Proctor. It came to him just at the right height on the half volley, tried to swivel and hit it goalwards, but he hit it way over the crossbar. Big chance missed for Rotherham. It stays Everton 2, Rotherham 0.
Well, I had that up as that's 3 great chances they've had. Rotherham, three proper chances where they've got clear in front of goal. Again, Proctor. It's a great little touch on from Ajayi, and he reads it well, comes round, but he can't keep it down. And to me, they could have had at least a goal, Rotherham, in this game.
Everton 2, Rotherham 0 on TalkSport 2. 83 minutes played nearly at Goodison Park. And a foul by Calvert-Lewin on Ajayi this time. And despite the fact that they're 2 goals to the good, there's a little bit of frustration here at Goodison Park that Everton aren't going through the gears, but the tie's won effectively unless Rotherham do something extraordinary in these closing stages. They do have a free kick inside their own half. Lewis Price to strike it, right-footed out towards the left-hand corner of the penalty area where Proctor brings it down under pressure from Kenny. Lovely little back heel for Robertson, clips the ball deep to the far post. Vassell's giving chase, but that's watched out of play well by Lucas Digne, and Everton will have a goal kick. 2-0 to the Toffees.
Yeah, good defending from the left back. In fact, it's great defending because he's putting them under real pressure there, Vassell. But I think we've got to give, although we're saying about Rotherham missing the chances, I think we've got to give Everton a little bit of credit here as well. They've defended well when they've had to. You know, Big Zuma's looked strong at the back. I think Holgate's been outstanding alongside him. I like both full-backs. Digne's looked good at left back. I think that young Kenny's been outstanding at right back. And at this moment, it's a deserved clean sheet.
And Everton have possession down the left-hand side. Oh, lovely ball flicked infield for Toshin, who's offside though. Sandro improvised a lovely flick with the outside of his right boot, tight to the left-hand touchline to find his striker, but Toshin was offside. So it'll be a free kick for Rotherham once again, just ahead of their own penalty area. Lewis Price, the goalkeeper, looking for an option. Ajayi's gone a bit further forward to help out his strikers to add some extra height in there. And he's the target for this free kick. Ajayi heads it right up in the air. Vogts heads it down for John Taylor. Taylor gets a drive away from the edge of the box, and that's well saved. Low down to his right by Stekelenburg. He had to move quickly because Taylor brought it down and just hit a snapshot with his right. It's a corner to Rotherham.
Great strike. It's a great strike from Taylor. Great technique because he's under a little bit of pressure. And he has to jump to take that down on his chest. And as he lands, we talked about the athleticism. He gets his body over the ball and keeps it down and hits the target really well. It's a great save by Stekelenburg.
But here's the corner at the park end for Rotherham. Swung in by Ford up at the near post. It's a goal. Will Vogts has got one back for Rotherham. He does an overhead jump. The near post is a goal. Will Vogts has got one back for Rotherham. He does an overhead jump in celebration. The Rotherham players dash back to the halfway line. They feel that this tie is not yet done. And Will Vogts, on as a substitute, heads Rotherham back into contention. Everton 2, Rotherham 1 with 5 to play.
Well, this is going to be interesting now because this game's been comfortable for Everton. But this Rotherham side's just come to life. It's a great finish. It's a great finish from Vogts. He's made a difference since he's come on. Will Vogts in midfield. Added that little bit of experience and know-how. The game on now.
Change made by Everton, and it's not the one that Neil Redfern or I were expecting. Holgate stayed out there, and Morgan Schneiderlin, just back from injury, has come on for Sandro to bolster the midfield in these closing few minutes. So, less than 5 minutes to go, and Rotherham have something to cling on to here. Meantime, another goal at the Den. Millwall 2, Plymouth 2. Lee Gregory equalises for Millwall. That's heading for penalties as things stand in South Bermondsey. Champions League goals to tell you about. Red Bull Salzburg 2, I think that is now against Red Star Belgrade. Here's Tom Davis at the edge of the area for Everton. Finds Calvert-Lewin! 3-1 Everton as soon as they're pegged back. They head down the other end. Davis found Calvert-Lewin to curl in a sumptuous third, his second of the game. And the tie is surely now safe. Everton 3, Rotherham 1.
Yeah, great play by Davis initially. Broke from midfield, drove to the edge of the box and picked Calvert-Lewin out to the left. And I thought the chance had gone when he checked back on his right foot, but he curls it away from the goalkeeper into the top corner of there. It's a fantastic finish. Order is resumed in this game.
Well, 2 on the night for Calvert-Lewin. You'll remember him scoring the winner in the Under-20 World Cup final, which you would have hoped would be a springboard to greater things. Played 32 times in the Premier League last season, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He has scored a second of the night. And Rotherham, who thought they had a sniff, suddenly find themselves 2 goals adrift once more on TalkSport 2 as we head towards 88 minutes gone. Matty Palmer picks the ball up, but there was a foul by Jamie Proctor, so Everton had themselves a free kick inside their own half. And then he slightly frayed nerves, but those were in the blue scarf of Everton, have disappeared. Now the Premier League side have got that 2-goal cushion back.
I think, to be fair, we talked right at the beginning of the show about players impressing and giving themselves an opportunity to get in the starting lineup on a regular basis. Well, Calvert-Lewin's done himself no harm at all tonight. He's played well, took his goals well, looked the part.
Goal kick for Stecklenburg. Sent downfield looking for Calvert-Lewin, but it's headed clear by Raggett. Calvert-Lewin's on a hat-trick. We should not forget as we tick round towards 89 minutes. He clips it down the left-hand side for Digne. Lovely ball into the edge of the area. Tries to play a 1-2 with Dowell. It plays off Anthony Ford, off Digne. And it's a corner to Everton at the Gladys Street end.
Yeah, both fullbacks have raided well for Everton. Digne this time, little give and go, gets him in and around the box, just gets his cross blocked.
Well, he's another one that might give Marco Silva some selection poses ahead of the visit of Huddersfield here on Saturday. Leighton Baines has the shirt at the moment at left back, but Digne will take this resulting corner from the left-hand side. Toshan and Zuma and Calvert-Lewin in the box. In it comes into the near post. It's cleared away by the first defender. And out of play, it's Will Volks who got it clear, who's got the captain's armband since David Ball went off. Everton throw into the last minute of normal time. Everton 3, Rotherham 1 on TalkSport 2.
Yeah, another mention for another player that's done well tonight is Davis in midfield. Done all the ugly stuff really well, but his passing and his way to passing and his understanding of the game in midfield has been top draw.
Digne tries to play the ball in field for Toshan, but that's hooked away by Palmer. Vassell tries to win a header, but Zuma gets the better of him. How significant is it that Davies got given the captain's armband tonight? Does that mean anything?
Yeah, very, because I think that he's obviously put a lot of faith in him, the manager. He feels that he is a leader, and I don't think he's let him down at all tonight.
Carvacell for Rotherham tries to drive into the area, but it's picked up by Mason Holgate. Just keeps it away from Jamie Proctor. And now Kieran Dowell is bursting over the halfway line, trying to get away from Vassell. Tries something that's somewhere between a shot and a cross. Ends up being neither, and just goes behind for a goal kick as we head into 4 minutes of minimum stoppage time at the end of this Carabao Cup tie. Everton heading through to round 3, 3-1 up against Rotherham United.
I think it's been about right, if I'm honest, on the weight of the game. And I think Rotherham had a little bit of a glimpse of it with a goal back, but door was quickly slammed shut.
Don't forget more live sport tomorrow night. Super League Live with Mark Wilson in the team. Warrington in action. Friday night, Leeds and Borough in the Championship is live here on TalkSport 2. And then West Ham Wolves Saturday afternoon. Ipswich and Norwich locking horns in the East Anglian Derby Sunday lunchtime. All on TalkSport 2, your home of live sport. So we're in stoppage time, and Rotherham have put an element of respectability on the scoreline by scoring, but they're under pressure here as Everton look for a fourth. Here's Cenk Tosun, picks the ball up and curls it goalwards, and it stings the palms of Lewis Price. Half a yard either side of him, that would have been interesting from Cenk Tosun.
Yeah, slick play again, and it's a great strike by Tosun. Keeper holds it, keeps hold of it well, but they do look the real deal of it. I have to say they played well tonight.
John Taylor just putting a lung-busting run down the left-hand side, but almost ran out of steam. Another goal at Millwall could be a winner here. Millwall 3, Plymouth 2. Aidan O'Brien looks to have won it for Millwall and prevented penalties. Millwall were behind twice in that game.
And we talked about before, that's the sort of win that just takes you off a bit of an iffy run. They'll buy into that now. The Millwall players, I would have thought.
But Rotherham are conceding goals again on the road. They need to sort that out. Oh, there's a late goal at the City Ground. Forest 1, Newcastle 1. And Salomon Rondon has equalised. That's heading to penalties. And you'll be able to check out those penalties should you wish to do so over on TalkSport with Sam Matterface and Matt Holland. If that indeed is how it stays. Is that Rondon's first for Newcastle? I think it is, It is. Yeah. Ball downfield for Rotherham, looking to get Vassell in behind Zuma down the right-hand side of the box. He holds it up well, tries to clip it back to Anthony Ford under pressure from Zuma. It is a throw to Rotherham, which Ford will leave for Will Volks to take. Wants to Send another long throw into the penalty area. Actually goes short this time for Anthony Ford. Ford can measure a ball into the area. Good ball in as well. Raggett heads it goalwards, and it's straight to the keeper, Stecklenburg.
It's a chance. It's a good effort actually from Raggett. He's unlucky. He just finds the keeper and he's trying to steer that onto the goal into the far corner. It's a great ball in from Volks.
Played a couple of minutes of the 4 minimum to be added on at the end of this cup tie. Walcott for Everton, leading by 3 goals to 1. Plays a neat 1-2 with Kieran Dowell. It's rolled left to Digne. Now Tojan picks it up on the left wing position, level with the edge of the area. On the overlap is Digne. Gets him behind, finds Dowell in the area, but the ball's coming across him. Tried to stroke it into the far corner, but didn't get enough on it, and it goes behind for a Rotherham goal kick. 3-1 Everton.
Yeah, he's unlucky there, Dowell. He's just trying to guide that into the far corner. Great play by Digne. Little give and go. Gets right to the byline, pulls it back and picks Dowell out in the box, which is great play from the fullback. But he just can't get enough curl on it to bring it back into the far corner. But they've cut through Rotherham at will at times, this Everton side.
They have. Goal kick from Lewis Price sent downfield. Raggett and Robertson between them guide it back to the goalkeeper again under a bit of pressure from Walcott. First time clearance from the Rotherham keeper. Strong header from Zuma. Back into the Rotherham half, but they can just let it run back to the goalkeeper once again. And we're into the last minute of the 4 that Graham Scott has added on. No need for VAR tonight so far. Here's Ford for Rotherham. Late chance for them. Whips the ball into the area. Good headed clearance from Mason Holgate. And the referee signals full time. And in front of 31,000 fans, Everton have progressed into the next round of the Carabao Cup. Beating Rotherham 3-1. They were 2-0 up. They got pegged back when Will Volks headed in from a routine from the left-hand side, but Dominic Calvert-Lewin with a brace to add to Gylfi Sigurdsson's first half strike means it's a safe passage through to round 3 for Marco Silva's Everton, and that is Silva's first win in this competition as a manager in English football. Much to admire in some of those Everton performances. Digne, Calvert-Lewin and Davis amongst the standout players who might give the manager a little bit of food for thought ahead of Saturday. As for Rotherham, well, they started well and were game right the way throughout the match, but Everton's Premier League quality told in the end. Full time here at Goodison Park. Everton 3, Rotherham United 1.
Good finish at Goodison Park. Staggering finish at the City Ground, live over on TalkSport. Solomon Rondon scoring for Newcastle, as Dan's rightly said. Matty Cash forced the ball at the other end and scored what surely is the winner, live on TalkSport. The final minute or so with Matt Holland and Sam Matterface on TalkSport. Nottingham Forest 1. Nottingham Forest 2, Newcastle 1 with less than 60 seconds to go. A dramatic night of Carabao Cup action. Let's take a look at the big moments of the match with Quest TV.
The EFL Highlights on TalkSport 2 with Quest. The new home of EFL Highlights every Saturday night from 9. Available on Freeview, Freesat, Sky, Virgin and live and on demand via the Quest OD app.
At Goodison Park tonight, the superior side, Everton throughout. Is that fair, Neil Redfern? They always just had too much for Rotherham tonight.
Yeah, they had a little bit more quality. Definitely some more purpose in the second half. And I think, to be fair, Rotherham, I thought they started really well, but it's just too much quality in the end of this Everton side.